Hello and welcome, Madden fans. We are here and we are live with the Madden 24 Rally Cly Collegiate Series, presented, of course, by the Army National Guard. I'm FBI Tugboat. I'm going to hit my man Novanta. Novanta, how are we feeling on the day?
I'm feeling fantastic. I'm always feeling fantastic, but they say it's the off season if you're an NFL fan, but we're still heating up here with these brackets. Hard hitting actions inbound shortly.
Absolutely, absolutely. We got a lot of collegiate players going forth to take the virtual field today, and I'm very, very excited for it. We're starting another qualifier here as well, of course. So, signups are now closed, of course, but as long as you're a student, you fulfill all the other requirements here, guys. There are going to be a lot more qualifiers after this, and if you're watching this because you're playing in it, if you lose on out here on the day, best of three is here on the day, of course. There will be more opportunities after this, Novanto.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, it's closed this week, and there's always opportunities to get back in future qualifiers. But today is the day, a brand new opportunity to make your way through the ranks to get some fantastic prizes.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about that prizing now. Man, Rally Cry has been putting out some buku bucks for a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of really, really awesome esports. As you can see, got our FGC series, Street Fighter, Guilty Gear, Tekken 7, all finding a lot of love. Little CS2 action as well there, Navant. Little Counter-Strike 2.
Yeah, man, blister thumbs all across the board, but my money is on Madden because it's a thinking man's game. And that's why we're in the stream here today, because you just can't throw it downfield. You have to have an extra layer of strategy there, Tugboat.
Absolutely, absolutely. Cannot just chuck it down the field. Now, folks, this $5,000 here for the Madden College Championship will be broken down thusly. First and foremost, numero uno going to be taking home $2,500. Second place is going to be getting $1,500. Third and fourth taking home $500, and that's just for playing some Madden. Now, Novanta, there's a little bit something extra there that first and second are going to be taking home. Is that correct?
Well, can that be? Yes, we're being told in the booth that you may have an opportunity to make your way to the NFL draft in Detroit. I know Detroit's coming back, but it's going to be a whole new level when you show up if you win.
Absolutely, absolutely. First two players there, first and second, not only will it be $2,500 and $1,500, they'll be playing live there at the NFL draft as well. So it'll be your opportunity to kind of show those who might know a lot about the sport exactly what you know about the virtual representation thereof, which is, of course, Madden 24. Absolutely love it. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the organizations that, of course, make this possible here, competitions just like this one possible. And that is, of course, the Army National Guard here in Avanta. First and foremost, the soldiers from the Army National Guard show up their community, their state, and their country when they are needed the most. They are civilians and soldiers because Guard service is, of course, part-time. Not full-time right here. A lot of soldiers in the Guard go forth and they have part-time jobs. They go to school and other things while they fulfill their training, which is, of course, a minimum of 1 weekend per month. 2 days out of 28 or 30 or 29 here this month, right? Because of leap year.
Oh, yeah.
And now the job specific annual training that you guys have as well, so it's once per month, but then of course the annual training that everyone has to go forth and make sure they're on their toes. Guys, the Army National Guard is the military's first responders. The Guard is activated to support when disaster strikes here at home.
Yeah, I got to give a good shout out to the Army National Guard because the soldiers in the Guard may qualify to receive education benefits from state and federal tuition assistance program, which means that's money, help for school. Soldiers in the Guard have the opportunity to gain transferable skills and leadership qualities outside the workplace or classroom while pursuing a full-time job or going to school full-time. Learn more at thenationalguard.com.
Yes, yes, fantastic organization. Again, Navanta and myself not be screaming about Madden if the Army National Guard wouldn't make competitions just like this one possible. Very, very much excited for it. Now, talked a little bit about the past. We even talked about the future and prizing and what's on the stake. Let's talk about here on the day and what matchup we're going to be seeing first here, Navanta.
Absolutely. It's going to be Jordan 2X versus Ferraro. And you know what? We're just talking about this before we went live about how fantastic and dynamic Jordan 2X is a user of the Kansas City Chiefs. Dare I say the world champion Kansas City Chiefs? Wow, it's still fresh. Let's see if they're going to use that here today. But there have been a very forward attack using all sides of the gridiron when given the opportunity.
Exactly. Ferraro out of the University of North Georgia taking on Javion Jordan or Jordu out of Alabama, Texas A&M. We got a little battle in the South down here. Some North Georgia taking on Alabama. Now, like you said, writing on the wall here for Jordu. Gonna be okay. There you go. Actually, excuse me, writing on the wall. Take that, throw it out the window here. Buffalo Bills being shown here for Jordu. 2K Ferraro going with the two-time world champions, the Kansas City Chiefs.
You know what? I thought it was going to be a kind of a swerve, but it really wasn't. Jordy was going to use the Bills last time was on stream, but it was an 11th hour decision to go with the Chiefs. Let's see if they're even better with Buffalo.
Would love to see this. Would love to see this. A matchup that loads of us would love to see in some kind of formulation of the Super Bowl, right? So in some world, in some universe, this matchup's going down right now. But let's see how this one takes the field. Let's actually use the past. Let's use the Super Bowl performances a little bit to talk about what could happen here within the game. Now, one of the first points you have to bring up: Travis Kelsey, 1 catch, 1 yard in the first half, 1-1-1 right there. That is not something that a Kansas City Chiefs team can generally do and expect to go forth and take a W.
First of all, you said something like we wanted to see the Chiefs and the Bills. As a Texans fan, I have to protest, but you're absolutely right. Look, I can say you have to use Travis Kelsey, even though the real performance wasn't that great. Let's see if he's used this time around here as we hit ourselves over to the field.
Absolutely. Taking the field here in just a little bit, incorporating the running game here, folks. The running game, of course, this will be James Cook carrying the rock here for the Buffalo Bills, Isaiah Pacheco, and possibly Edward Hilaire here for the Kansas City Chiefs. This is Tyler Bass sitting it back and ready to punt this one away, or kick this one away, excuse me.
Well, we said it's a best of three, and we saw last week that sometimes if the score becomes insurmountable, you can tap out. Let's hopefully we don't see that today. I want some hard-hitting smash mouth football when it's all said and done.
That's your correction here, folks. Jordu on the left, Kansas City Chiefs, Ferraro, the Buffalo Bills. So we'll be seeing Jordu back to his usual tricks. Ferraro representing another one of the fantastic teams within the National Football League.
Well, either way you slice it, you're going to have yourself a different bit of a clash of styles. Buffalo, a little bit less patient out of the gun. But even though they're on defense now, let's give a chance for Kansas City to show out and get some scores first.
Speaking of, Valdez Scantling right to the outside. About 5 yards right there as Mahomes at least starts this one back on off. As you mentioned, this is a best 2 out of 3. And we'll be seeing the loser of this one still get a second opportunity within the second game. One and dones, that was a thing of the past. That was just qualifier number 1, Navanta.
So I understand that, sometimes you have a bad game or you have a bad strategy inside the game. You're wondering what can go wrong, and sometimes things do go wrong. So you get a second chance and really right the ship. We even saw someone change teams last week, but at the same time, you can't dilly dally. You drop 2 in a row, it is over for you. So you gotta hit hard and fast, no matter which way you go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll see how this one goes here. Of course, folks, you lose on the day. Georgia got so close last qualifier, was eventually taken out by Neighbor that found themselves all the way in the top 2 as well. It's a pitch off to Pacheco. Pacheco going to get the first down plus a little bit more.
Yeah, we've seen this a lot from Jordy, right? Understanding that first drive of the game really sets the tone and pace. A faster, up tempo kind of attack. The idea is, can they maintain that throughout?
That really is good. Consistency going to need to be key, and that's a big defensive play from the Buffalo Bills. Get a little picture-in-picture action for you guys down bottom. Big shout out to our production staff here on the day, making our jobs as casters that much easier, Devonta.
Oh, absolutely. Hard come, easy go, it seems. About to give him praise of a fast offensive attack. You get sacked right after. Woo! Them's Madden.
That's another one. Barely gets that one out to avoid the sack. Third and forever coming up for the Kansas City Chiefs, led by Jordu.
Yeah, that's definitely a moral victory there. It wasn't a sack, but it might as well would be. That's not really a strong start you have after having that first down.
Yeah, not exactly awe-inspiring here for the very beginning, but this is a Buffalo Bills defense that not only is good at what they do, but is also quite fresh. About the 4th or 5th snap of this so far. Out right there. Lewis is right behind that, lining up to pick this one away, but as Pacheco getting right when they need to and just the right time.
Kind of bailed them out with that one. Pacheco with a sidestep that was pretty smart to be used. User inputted to get some extra yardage here for the first down.
We moving the chains, fresh set of downs. Mahomes sits back into the pocket. Audibles upon audibles right here as this is looking at a little bit deeper coverage on the zone for Ferraro's. 3 yards outside of the 50-yard line. Middle of the field, pitch out. Kelsey gets a ball, but gets a yard maybe.
That's a very generous yard. I mean, if you count the falling of the tree in the woods, right? Sure. You get Travis Kelsey involved, that's always a good sign, but you have to be a better look than that if you want him to actually give you yards.
Yeah, tall man indeed. Basically just fell down and got yardage from vertical laydown right here. And Mahomes back again. Pacheco going to be sitting right out to his left wing. They're playing protection duties. Going to be going out to take a pitch there after. Heavily loaded up on the right side, rolling out. That is going to be Pacheco. Gets across one. That's a first down, plus a little bit more. You saw the user movement right there, purchasing just a little bit more yardage.
Pacheco doing seemingly the brunt of the work here on offense is very strong showing them for them so far. Let's see if they go back to them again.
Hey, if it worked once, why not try it again? Back-to-back plays. Wouldn't be the first time you get it. 3 times in a row is a different story. Sets back. Mahomes barely gets this one out yet again and avoids what could have been the second sack of this game.
Yeah, it definitely seems of going to what works, but you wanted to do it in a way that's not easily predictable. Every time you have yourself a little bit of forward motion, there seems to be a wall on defense, which tells me that your opponents pretty much figure out your pattern as you speak.
Yeah, and getting figured out early is not going to be an ideal situation. Kadarius Toney, no! That's going to be Hyde now striding down the field, gets past a couple big men on the offensive line, and that's a lot of green inside. The 10, the 5, 2 diving plays. Nobody's going to stop Hyde.
Yeah, talking about figuring out the offensive attack, it was an easy interception. I was actually more concerned of them running out of gas, across the line. But you know what? That's how it's done. First one to draw blood is Ferraro and the Buffalo Bills.
We would be indicted if we didn't show you this one on replay here. Fantastic movement. If you just draw a line and run the whole way, Hyde maybe gets to the 50-yard line. Ferraro putting points on the board already.
You could ask here and say, why would you go to the passing play so open so early? But that's just kind of like coulda, woulda, shoulda. It was a fantastic adjustment in the midair, and that's how you get 7 points out of nothing.
Crashing the party right there. There was a lot of people invited, and nobody on Kansas City wanted that result. Tyler Bass, perfectly timed kickoff with a lot of power. Going to be booting this one a little bit off to the right, but a wise, fair catch here. Novanta will not get the kickoff returns touchdown today, at least on this play. Excuse me.
Well, you know what? It's kind of the worst case scenario there for Kansas City. Not only it was kind of a shutter step offensive attack, not only did you give up the interception, the defensive stuff was kind of lax there. So here's an opportunity to find something,
no!
and well, opportunity squandered. That's number 2.
Back-to-back interceptions for the pick six. This is not starting good for stream favorite Jordu 2X. My oh my, that is quite literally as bad as it gets. Gets it on the replay, and this is nobody in between Patrick Mahomes and the flat right there. Reads this one perfectly, likes the book, has met the author and got it signed across the front cover. Perfectly timed, perfectly powered, and Tyler Bass makes this a 14-point game.
Wow, that's the most detailed book analogy I've ever heard. I really think it was kind of a smart move in the defense. You can't even say it was a pickoff as much as them really kind of like influencing the screen pass there, because there was almost 2 or 3 bodies that could have took that interception. So maybe a bit of an inception there, play there for Ferraro and company.
Yeah, I 100% agreed. 100% agreed. Defenses here for Ferraro just been reading this one perfectly. The last one was maybe more of an offensive misstep, Novanta, tossing this one again. A double coverage right there, and when the man is inside with a step on his receiver. This one was just, again, read all the way through. Transparency seems. James in the back, not going to do this one. Taking it from the 25 will be Jordu 2X for the 3rd time of this first quarter.
Yeah, taking the knee in the end zone is kind of like calling for the bell in the boxing matchup, right? Look, being down 2 touchdowns isn't the end of the world. It isn't the beginning of the end of the world, but you don't want to drop those points so quickly. So if anything, Kansas City needs a breather to really evaluate what they need to do to get on the board.
I believe we're getting confirmation now. Names are backwards here, and Jordu is playing under the Buffalo Bills. Apologies for that, guys. We'll get that figured out here in just a couple of seconds. Here is Ferraro and the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, audibles on audibles. Establishing the running game is what we've said at the beginning of pretty much all of these Madden games so far. Cole Hartman Jr. going to be able to get this one.
No.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
That's just unfortunate. You did everything right. You're trying to get yourself on the board. It was a pass that could have been caught, but just like that, hard come, easy go, stripped, take the other way.
Man, oh man. This has just been a defensive slobber knocker thus far here for the Buffalo Bills, Novanta. Short passes inside, even with the reception, doesn't work. Running plays getting stifled. Travis Kelsey with a 1 yard right here. Maybe they heard me about the first half Super Bowl performance.
I think I definitely hear you. I mean, you're the voice of this whole tournament, man. I mean, come on. But I gotta say this: having so much good fortune in one quarter can really put the opponent on the mental outs and have them try to force an early concession. But you know what? Then when you slice it, you
Dude.
can't really knock the variety of plays from Buffalo. It's just that good.
Yeah, running plays get established now. 12 yards for James Cook. Better rush than most of these receptions thus far. I would go so far to venture, actually not far to venture. I can tell you 100% guaranteed. There's the Kansas City offensive passing yards. There's the Buffalo Bills offensive passing yards, and then there's the amount of yards the Buffalo Bills defense have returned balls for.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because I think 2 Maddens ago you would say that Buffalo would be like your hidden gem choice because it really was a playbook a lot of teams haven't had time to learn. But that said, I think they're more established now, and you think that Kansas City put up more of a fight with their defensive strengths. We're just not quite seeing it now.
100% agreed. Two fumbles, or excuse me, two interceptions and a fumble here for the Ferraro-led Kansas City Chiefs. See if this is going to improve on defense. Trey can try and get a performance similar. Dawson Knox going to be 1 for 4 right now. I was talking about Josh Allen offensive passing yards. That was the first pass that the Bills have put onto this field, and they're up 14-0 right now.
And you know what? The little aggressive there from Kansas City, something you need to really get that team fired up, right? Having someone just know where to go after receiving it, it's how you get yourself back at the game on the defensive side.
Speaking of sides, we're switching ours up here as receivers, tight ends, everybody moving left to right as of right now. Swan Diggs right up on the line. If I'm putting him to the corner right here, but no, it's going to go down to the end of the first quarter. Second quarter starting in just a couple of seconds. No big break here. No ads here, folks.
Yeah, if you told me that was the first half, I'd also believe you because it was a long game. Even longer if you're Ferraro, right? Like, what happened? I mean, almost everything of bad luck happened that first quarter for them.
I think it's one of those situations where Ferraro found themselves in a situation where they have to go forth and put a lot of pressure and early against a player like Jordu. And then one mistake led to the next, and you find yourselves constantly trying to dig your way out of a bad situation. This bad situation just got a little bit worse, of course. Another touchdown, first offensive touchdown of this matchup so far.
Well, look at that touchdown pass. It was kind of all swagger, right? On the run, off balance, on the wrong leg, and fires, and it's completed. That's when you know you hit another level there. 21 zip, Buffalo.
Yeah, three scores right here. Let's take a look at this previous one as special teams plays are going to be figured out by these two. While he's running as well, like it's not something you necessarily saw, say, 10 years ago or so, but everybody running across the body, upside down, it seems. These quarterbacks in the NFL these days can make these passes.
Oh, absolutely. I think when you have someone that can really change the game, and I'm not sure if you're a Michael Vick fan, but I think when he was doing it, it was kind of like half of the fun of deciding when he was going to run the ball or pass it. But then a whole class of QBs after that has really incorporated that into their game. It's not really a special sauce anymore. It comes down to how effective you are on the run.
Yeah, I mean, really, look at the NFL. How many of these are quarterbacks that do great things? We're not counting Brock Purdy right now, folks, that are doing
Who?
great things without having a running game. Who? Never heard of them. Without having a running game, though, of course. I mean, you look at your Lamar Jacksons, of course. You look at your Patrick Mahomes, your Josh Allens, your Philadelphia Eagles, your Jalen Hurts, right? These are all running
Yeah.
quarterbacks.
Even that new guy, Joe Flacco. Heard of him? He's pretty cool.
That new guy, Joe Flacco. He's even got some wheels on him, guys. He's even got some wheels closer to 40 than he is 30, guys. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. I love the postseason push from the Browns there as well, but this is the NFL, and they are the Cleveland Browns. We know how that story ends.
Well, again, it's a Texans fan. I was fine with the result.
Oh,
Anyway,
dude, I
Kansas City with the ball out of the gun.
was really excited for the Texans this year. Was
Yeah.
really, really excited for the Texans this year. First playoff push and for a significant playoff push in quite a while, right?
I'm a little salty. My jersey came like yesterday, like
Oh,
2 weeks.
no. Wow, Pacheco putting up more receiving yards than I think all of these receivers for the Kansas City Chiefs thus far. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Let's take a look at this one. A big passing play. Big passing play. Audibles and more called, and that's up and then down. Pacheco just out in the middle of nowhere, nobody nearby.
Win, lose, or draw, you have to get Pacheco some milkshakes after the game because he is just doing everything out there himself. It seems like.
Take him on over to McDonald's. That was always the thing. You do well in practice. Not a McFlurry. Now McFlurries have Oreos or Reese's, other things like this. That was always a lot. My dad realized that. But the
McFlurries are for
dollar snow
winners.
cone. Hey, there you go. There you go. The McFlurries were for game wins. Now practices was just for a more standard, simple vanilla snow cone. I was always vanilla.
Shout out to Tugboat's dad. That's hilarious.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sits back into the pocket here. We see defensive schemes as this pocket starts to collapse. Two big men after him, and that's a fat sack. This potato bag hits the ground rather hard. 11 yards. Yeah, 11 yards on the sack right here. Uh, we've seen a lot of FFs relatively early. Good on Ferraro for sticking this one through.
Yeah, I'm gonna borrow a phrase from Rocket League where I would say in that game there's only one mistake you can do, and that's hesitate. And that's what happened there. Mahomes had nowhere to go, but just like that, get some yards back. Okay.
Okay, one rushing attempt, 14 yards right now. That's a lot more doable, but this is still the first half of the game, Avanta.
Oh well, I would have punted but any other measure, but you're down by 21 and you're pretty much at the FF precipice. Why not go for it here for the captions or clips? It seems.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, qualifiers only. Well, I'd say it only happens once a year, like Christmas, but that would be a lie. It happens 4 times. Again, folks, you lose out of this competition if you're playing in it. Still going to have some more open qualifiers after this one. Of course, next week will be the people who qualify today. So you punch his ticket. Kelsey, just a display of athleticism right there. Gets the ball and gets the ground while maintaining possession.
Wow, I don't think they maintain possession. It's going the other way now. That was kind of a desperation pass. Went to
Oh,
nowhere in particular. It was a try to be caught, but couldn't bring it down. I think it's Buffalo ball.
wow. Yes, you're 100% right. I missed that one there. I missed that one. That's why you have co-casters like this one. Miss it, or blink and you'll miss it here, folks. Blink and you'll miss it. Georgiou back on the offense, right on their side of the 50-yard line.
See, that's what I'm talking about, the mental aspect of the game, right? You looked like it was all lined up. It felt like it was caught. And you gave it to Travis Kelsey. I mean, you did everything the game allows you to make that a completion, but it wasn't to be there.
He did everything that I
Oh
was gonna
my
tell you to.
goodness.
Oh, runs into his blocker. There's a lot more at the end. That's one of those plays you only see in Madden, my friend.
That is one of those things you look up to the sky and go, Madden, what have I done for you to forsaken me? Because it was caught, but then caught the other side, an outside juke into an inside juke, and it still maintained possession. Wow.
The outside Shakir. This was Jordan that used Shakir perfectly. Previous performances and whatnot. Shakir now going to get their first catch for a single yards. Take a look at this big bomb to the outside yet again.
Yeah, look at that. Just bounced off the first coverage and had a little bit of a mishap with their own blocker, but got even more after that. That's the kind of thing you don't see too often IRL, but if you get those in Madden, you feel like it's going to be your night.
Yards after catch or yards after contact here, that YAC. They've been talking about it in the NFL broadcast for years now. That really is the kind of player stat that sets these individuals apart. Setting back, running play James Cook. This goes into motion, Stephon Diggs, and a little juke to the outside, and it's just a casual 28-point game.
Just slide to the left. Slide to the right. Look at that. And the symphony plays on. That's 4 whole scores right there. They're Tugboat. And talking about yards after contact, back when I played football,
Mm.
there was always 0 because I played the biggest nose guard in my conference. So shout out to
There
me.
you go. If you got contact, you were meeting the ground shortly thereafter, folks. That's what Navanta said.
Oh, yeah.
Circa late 2000s, early
Uh, yeah,
2010s.
yeah, early 2000s. I'm an old man. I was 5'9", 275. I was a house.
Jeez, is a house indeed. That sounds like a stacked block there, my friend.
Absolutely.
That's crazy. 270. Love it. Love it. 2-minute warning. A little bit past that, Ferraro's really going to be looking at entire gamble type situations for the rest of this, right? It can't get much worse. Try to just throw everything in the book at Jordy right now.
Yeah, the only thing you could probably do now is really try to have other running options. You do get those yards with the running options, but you can't go with Pacheco all the time. We've seen that Travis Kelsey so far has had those butterfingers. It happens. It may not be the best options, and you've seen that your screen game has been locked down. So run the ball and maybe go for those long, deep passes, especially with the streaks.
Yeah, short passages aren't really going to do this here, especially with 2 minutes on this clock. This is for our honestly wants to score and still get this one back. Full 6 timeouts left in this one as well. Kelsey to the outside, looking to get there. Does technically get to the outside, but this is still going to run the clock.
Yep, this is a play that they say, you know what, Caster, shut up. We're going to give you a screenplay with Travis Kelsey because you told me they're not options anymore.
Yeah, hey, it wasn't working earlier, but hey, moving the chains. Name of the game all the way back here with Pacheco a step. No, that's not Pacheco. Edwards Hilaire, I believe, a step behind him to the right. Getting audibles upon audibles as these players prepare.
Yeah, why not try to go with something a little bit unique and off kilter because you have pretty much out of time to do something kind of like by the book that gets thrown away, unfortunately.
8 for 16 now. Mahomes dead even 500 on the passing completion here. A couple of picks spells a bad story here for the Kansas City Chiefs in the first half of this football game.
Well, it's not. I'll try to find things that are positive, and it's a very small list right now, to be honest with you. But
Mm,
you're right; it's still the first half, and there's a lot of time to come out and say, "Hey, look, if my opponent can score four, I can definitely score four myself."
yeah, whatever can be done or whatever has been done in the first half of one of these games can be undone in the second half. Categorical changes to be required, but it's definitely possible. Mecole Hardman gets this one. No, not all the way out. Excuse me. Looked like a first down to me. Thankfully, they're going to be using not tugboat eyes to determine that one. Move on to
Yeah, why not, man? If Matt's gonna give you the short end of the stick, might as well give it a short end of the chains too.
of that. Of that, Mahomes does get this one out. Kelsey right around the sideline, but still going to stay in. Clock is running. No timeout called. If I'm Gerraro, or if I'm Ferraro, excuse me, I'm 100% about this, right? You got plenty of time to get something done. If I'm Jordy, I'm definitely calling timeouts, though.
I mean, I'm with you 100% with the clock management situation, and there you go. Timeout
Okay.
called. I was going to say, yeah, on the run, it was kind of risky for Mahomes, especially the day he's been having to do that pass on the run, but it got them a little bit more of a position to get something on the board. Maybe not a full touchdown, but a field goal is a nice start.
This defense is going to have some open coverage across the middle unless Lewis's user interface right there. And if this ball was out, I believe it might have been number 10. That might have been Isaiah Pacheco right across the middle, but relying on the defense pays off for Jordu yet again.
Well, that would have been a flag, that drop shoulder right to Mahomes. Is anyone watching the game? But either way, that's unfortunate there for Kansas City. Another setback here with 9 seconds to go in the first half.
A little bit of a different look on the defense so far. A little bit of a different look on the defense. Yields a much different look on the offense now. Strong side switch. Pass off right there attempted. Nope, it's going to be the screen pass to Mecole Hardman. Mecole Hardman beats feet to the outside to stop this clock.
And you get some yards on the play. I know they were looking for a first down. It wasn't going to happen because I think that Buffalo side is just too sharp.
6 seconds. This is an easy decision with a timeout left. You go for it. Try and get the touch. If not, call the timeout 1 second. Kick three, but 5 seconds different story. The big man, Travis Kelsey, brings this one down. And this game just got a lot more manageable.
You know, in any other game, I would have said, okay, touchdown, but I had to wait and make sure the ball was actually completed, which is the kind of day that Kansas City has had, but they're on the board finally late in the first half.
This is 2 second attempt here. This is also probably going to gate an opportunity. Buffalo on the other side. Mahomes steps back. Easy peasy. Valdez Scantling making it look so. And we're going to get a kickoff and not much more here for Jordu.
Not sure if the 2 point conversion was a calculated risk, but it worked out. So maybe I'm just negative Nancy.
But 8 to 16 to 24. Even then, you still have to kick the extra field goal there to make it a 27-28 game. Maybe they're doing different kind of algebra than this caster's capable of.
So the question I have now is: are we going to run the clock? Are we going to have these long, drawn-out running plays now early in the second half, second quarter, or are you going to try to do something a little bit more flashy?
I was gonna swear your question was like, well, Tugboat, are you good at math? Because that really is the operating question right there.
Oh, I know I'm
But
terrible at math. Yeah.
yeah, caster math, man, worst enemy, worst enemy. To your question though, Definitely split looks. I'm definitely going with exactly what Jordan's doing. Try to get this one out. That's a decent block as well as Sneed turns tail and tries to get into position. That was a good block attempt here, but to the second half we go here.
Well, how about trying to run up the score? That's kind of, I mean, I would say it's kind of a tough break there if you are the Buffalo Bills supporter because you could have another opportunity. But look, you have the comfortable lead. All you have to do is make sure the clock runs out. You don't have to do way too much, but that could have been the start of a trend that we're going to see with these teams trying to run up the score as much as they can.
Yeah, so especially with Georgia getting the ball back right here, they're in a onside kick return formation. That's going to be a weird little punt right here. And if they let it go, they should. Nope, it's going to be picked up. Hines right there now brings this one back, negating a 25-yard line type situation. Tries to get out to the left flat. Not going to happen. 11-yard line is where Jordu will start this drive.
Yeah, everyone got caught with their pants down, especially up here in the booth. That was an awkward pause and a bit an awkward formation as well. Hopefully, it was part of the plan, although I'm not sure what the plan was.
It's all part of the plan. Now, I 100% agree. Maybe trying to negate starting yard position. Not 100% sure, but the result going to be the same. Jordy not starting this one anywhere near as good as they've started the last three drives or so. Josh Allen starts the train engine. He is a rumbling on, does get the slide in there in the end, and one of the longest rushes of this game so far.
Yeah, that right there was a defensive formation. I wouldn't have gone for it. It was way too wide, way too loose. That's the kind of wrong coverage you want when you have a team like Buffalo on the ropes. And now you open yourself up for yet another scoring drive. And look at this one. It's off to the races now. First down.
Yeah, Jared or James Cook, excuse me, right there gets like barely touched on the first contact, and that's exactly what we've been talking about when we talk about just powerhouses of football like James Cook. I get a little bit of contact. That does not mean he is going down after that. 4 seconds on the play clock right here is Josh Allen and Jordu trying to figure some things out. Jared Cook again. James Cook, man, oh man, I keep doing that. It's a huge pocket to work with.
I gotta say that Buffalo and Jordan was feeling so confident they're not even in the shotgun. Like, oh my goodness, that's who you know they have time to operate.
Yeah, Navanta makes jokes, but seriously, these players have really, really been loving this spaced out positioning here in the center and the quarterback so far a lot. R1 would have been a fantastic, but they draw coverage over to the left side, and Shakir, always the sleeping giant of the offense here for the Buffalo Bills. Take a
Yeah,
look at this one again.
this right here is a fantastic pass down, and just using that advantage of seeing how slow it takes Ferraro to switch with players in Kansas City's option to make that defensive nadir, a black hole, if you will, an easy first down.
Another running play right up to the right. James Cook. Not sure why I keep calling him Jared. Over to the right side. Just to keep again. This is about keeping the playbook open and varied so that Ferraro does not know what's happening afterwards.
Well, that's the one of the things too. I think a lot of teams, when they have a lead, they try to still run up the score, and then if they have some concessions of points, try to run the clock late in the game where they have less options. And I think a lot of things we're seeing here is run the clock in the third, which a lot more teams should do, and they don't. So it's actually a very smart play used by Jordan and company. I wonder how long they're going to do that though.
Yeah, Navantes here is talking about like the 900 level football class. I 100% agreed. You really don't hear that many people talking about this, but the as somebody else has said, the difference between the third quarter and the fourth quarter is a small 2-minute rule in just a bunch of seconds. Still in the second half. R1, this should be good. Diggs gets inside, and this is a 35-point game, barring a Tyler Bass miss.
Well, look at this here. It was a shot in the corner, but it was really cool to get small to secure the ball to make sure it was a guaranteed score.
Nicely done. Nicely done. 35-8. Kansas City and Ferraro are slowly approaching. Well, they're pretty much in the situation now where even if they score onside kick attempts and more are going to be required. So it is truly, truly dwindling opportunities here for the Kansas City Chiefs. At a certain point, when do you start bringing this ball out? When do you start going for those Novanta desired kick sixes.
Yeah, there should have been about a quarter and a half ago. And I just think how cool it was. I mean, that last drive from Jordan and Buffalo was what, 2.5 to 3 game minutes? It's worth its weight in gold. If you're Kansas City, now the time to throw caution to win. If you get something intercepted, then you throw up the white flag, but you got to get something on the board.
In Kansas City, Travis Kelsey, in yards after contact, gets a hit, gets a little bit more afterwards. Move these change. 167 total yards, but almost all of those being the way of the pass. Pacheco has taken far more receiving yards than rushing. Steps back, surveys the field, checks downs up. Kelsey gets it over the cornerback right there and gets tackled, drilled to the ground a couple of yards afterwards.
I was a risky play. It could have been one or two picks away from being another interception or another pick six, to be honest with you. But Travis Kelsey is just that good.
It really is. It really is. Got the hands, size, got the player mental as well. Skills to pay the bills.
All the time in the
Holmes.
world.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, easy decision right there. Second and inch is going to be the call. They're going to call this one down right at the beginning of the slide. But now we get into the philosophical, perhaps, question, folks, that
Ooh, I love
Avanta and
that.
I have been going back and forth. Like, when you're technically within the red zone, this being the perfect spot, right? 19-yard line. Would you rather first down right here or second and inches? I'm taking second and inches and a fresh set of downs every time. Mahomes could spit forward and get the first down, and he does.
Yeah, absolutely. That's two QB slides back to back. I don't think we've ever seen that in this tournament there, Tugboat,
I
but you're right.
That's a good point. I don't think so. I don't think we have either. Maybe with the Jalen Hurts led Philadelphia Eagles last week or 2 weeks ago. Not 100% sure, but you're right. I cannot remember if we had Pacheco sent out to the receiver's slot. Home steps back. This is a passing play, like forecasted like the
Oh,
weather
man.
last week. And this Buffalo Bills defense is going to read that and swallow Mahomes live in the backfield.
I can't even say Mahomes had nowhere to go. He started off with nowhere to go. He's got himself into a corner, and then that was that.
He was always downtrodden. He was always beaten down. And that happens yet again. Mahomes does get the ball out right here. But that's going to be a loss of a play. 3rd and 18 coming up for the Kansas City Chiefs offense.
Sack times two. Yikes.
Lost yardage, but the loss of down at this point, when you're down by 27 points, basically going to be the same thing. Now, play clock running, of course, game clock not, after the technical incomplete pass earlier. All the way back here, running game getting neglected, and Mahomes steps away from his defender's back for just a second and gets drilled down. Earl Oliver, I believe, is the player's name, forcing a 4th and 20.
Yeah, I'm seeing the awake supporters filing out of the arena. What a tragic drive. 3 sacks back to back to back in the fourth. Yikes. Times 3. Woo.
Bills defense pressure that has been created from them is just stifling at this point. This is man, oh man, 3 minutes is like technically enough time, but not really, and especially now that you're eating up into timeouts, ever so precious timeouts that you could be using to get this game a little bit closer. Again, forcing onside kick attempts, man. Putting Avante, I'm trying to be positive here.
Well, you can be positive and say that as this game has gone on, the Kansas City Chiefs has actually gotten better with the offensive attack and their defense as well. Just that they can put themselves in a hole early on, and a lot of yards being given to Pat Mahomes. Now he's going to run. It's a rush opportunity. So close to a
Ooh.
touchdown city, my friend.
Okay, first down though, and this is a fantastic situation. Mahomes, I have to hark back to our conversation just a second ago, right? That this is 16 yards up from where they were. If this was a first down earlier, right? If they had gotten the first down, not the 2nd and inches, this is not the situation they'd be finding themselves in. This would have been a turnover on downs on about the 8-yard line. 17 seconds, 15 seconds outside of that 2-minute warning right here. Looks like Ferraro is going to yield all of it. This might be a push of the game 2 type situation.
Look, I always say it's like almost like having a splitting headache, right? What you're saying is absolutely true, but sometimes if you have a headache, you're not thinking about the most logical thing. You're just thinking,
Mm,
oh, move it, just do whatever to stop the pain. I think a lot of times we're in that moral victories part of the game where Kansas City just wants to be able to get more on the score so the scoreline looks more respectable.
Gotcha. They want to put a few more yards between them and the end zone. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to make this touchdown an easy one, right? They really want to earn it, it seems. 2 minutes, 10 seconds here. We have 2 timeouts of the Kansas City Chiefs. We have the 2-minute warning coming up in just a little bit, but unless they're end result of each of those plays is a touchdown, this game is over and figured. Kadarius Toney showing up here for the offenses. That's going to be 14 on the board for Ferraro as of right. Version coming in. Steps back, rolls to the left, and sacked yet again. Buffalo Bills defense not giving up nothing. 1 for 2 on the 2-point conversions, though.
That's definitely true. I thought it's going to strip the ball, try to go take it out of Mahomes' hands. Didn't get that, but that was a sack with authority, and we see a lot of sacks today.
Yeah, fairly fair. Fairly fair. Hines. Yep, wise decision. Takes the 25. The NFL rules on kickoff returns and yardage position thereof has been determined for a long time.
Oh yeah, what's the CFL rules? I'm just kidding. I don't
CFL rules, Canadian football.
I'm
Actually, can I
just-
tell you that? I know their field is. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't actually tell you. I'm enlighten me, please, though. I'm
You could have
curious.
made something up. I don't really.
Oh, I could have made something. Gotcha. That's funny. Navanta and I here like very well versed on the spring football leagues, what they're doing. That was just announced recently as well. The big bomb all the way to the outside, scoring not over with yet. 2 seconds outside of that 2-minute warning. Again, this game has been figured though. They did confirm what they're using the USFL kickoff, so no standing still, kickoff return players and stuff like that for the XFL. I gotta say that is what I preferred.
I mean, look, I'm an XFL guy, and the reason why we're bringing this up here is that you'll see which one the NFL will eventually adopt if they decide to
Hmm.
change the rules. But I was an XFL guy. I kind of missed the 2020 version of the XFL. It's far gone now. But here's an absolutely disrespectful play here, trying to run up that score in that fourth, but they get stopped right before the first down.
Yeah, single pass out to what 5 yards, something like this. Georgia just going to keep these runs and passes on the inside, waste out this next 2 minutes or so. Got love for the XFL. I just feel like I don't know. I've been tainted right now that I've been casting for a long time. When something's not like, in my opinion, like professionally done, nice like production and everything, then I'm just kind of like notice that stuff, right? And that's kind of what I feel like the difference between the XFL and the USFL came in there. It just became noticeable, and then I got all snooty about it. So really, it's more about me than anything else.
Of course, because you live in Las Vegas. That's like the worst team in the league. But that's besides the point.
Oh
you,
no,
you got to focus on this one here. It's like
dude.
the last moments here in the fourth quarter. Buffalo's trying to do at least one more touchdown just because at this point. But you're right. The game is pretty much done and dusted. All they have to do is run the clock. They're choosing not to.
Yeah, so that's going to be a, new set of downs. Ball kept inside. James Cook on the reception and clock running. Yeah, Cashman Field, dude. I could. That was
I'm
an
with you.
experience. That
I'm
was an
with you.
experience. I did get to go there once. It was an awesome game. I believe it was the St. Louis Battlehawks that beat the Vegas Vipers like really badly, but it was still cool going. But Cashman Field is that is an experience in and of itself.
Yeah, yeah. It's a baseball field, and as opposed to
Converted
the
baseball
stadiums,
field. Yeah.
probably the stadiums you see here in Madden, right? Like it's a whole different experience, and I think that really adds to things. This is why some team like the Chiefs, when you play at home, there is actually a buff of having the home crowd there
Oh
because
yeah.
it's a whole different vibe.
Really is. Really is. I can't exactly remember the name of the buff that specifically that is applied for playing in Arrowhead Stadium, but 100%. And that's something a little bit different they've been doing here within Madden 24. Very much like that. It definitely offers like a little bit of a different look and like a different idea of what these teams can do when they do have those buffs, Navanta.
Yep, absolutely. And speaking that, the home team wins this one. Buffalo 35, the Chiefs 14. That's one game in hand. This best of three. Jordan put on an absolute clinic with a bit of skill and some Madden type luck. Not knocking it, but it was definitely a dub.
If you're talking about the Kelsey pick, I 100% agree with you. It looked like the big man there for Kansas City had brought this one down, not 100%, but at the end of the day, the writing was written onto the wall pretty early here with two pick sixes, a fumble close to the end zone from that player over there from Kansas City, kind of started this slow roll down that eventually turned into an avalanche, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Every game is different, though. It's a chance of redemption. It's also a best of three. It's kind of the reason why we do a best of three because you have to beat your opponent twice with a seemingly different strategy. Not knocking Jordan, but they were a little bit of benefit of just the natural happenings of Madden. What do you have in store in game two to put this beyond doubt?
If I'm the Buffalo Bills, if I'm Jordy right here, they started out with very extremely varied plays as well. Getting James Cook into the passing situation is fantastic, or the reception situation is fantastic. But this was just literally copy your defense from game one and paste it into game number two. That'll set the pace for what you can do and what is really required of you, of Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills on offense.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% there. It looked like the first 30 seconds of the first quarter was going to be all Chiefs. The pacing was really more their speed, was more tempo. But then we saw that adjustment as soon as that second interception came, where it really felt like the Bills were being the drum. So if you're able to do that, you can dictate the pace, and as they say in the sports, make them play your game. Then it's going to be all good for them.
Yeah, Ferraro also taking gambles and whatnot after a situation like two back-to-back pick sixes. This shows that Ferraro's got that fire inside, that got that heart of the competitor and whatnot, right? Especially given that this was like a game one, right? Like if game one's like close but you still lose and this happens in game two, it's like, okay, well, I don't have an opportunity after this one. I'm just gonna go ahead and just go ahead and give it up, push it on to the next rally cry open qualifier, right? Again, try and get on into Detroit, Michigan for the NFL draft in April. One of the two players to be able to do so. But this is game one and playing it all the way to the end. Again, gotta love the gumption here. Winner of this one as well. We're just taking a look at the bracket right now, guys. You can find this over on the tournament website. Jaden LBU going to be taking on the winner of this one. Right now is Jordu ahead 1-0 in the series.
Yeah, it says chance for a second one, maybe a sweep. We've seen more sweeps in this qualifying series than we've seen final game threes. I'm not trying to jinx it, not trying to forecast it, just saying what I call how I see it. But you're absolutely right there about a team in the will. I know you have the option to forfeit a round. That may happen later on in a tournament where fatigue may set in. You say, look, I'll drop this game. I'll take the time to reset. But you're right. If it's the beginning of a tournament, really play all the plays, see what your opponent has, even if the scoreline seems insurmountable, and maybe you can apply that in the following game.
Yeah, like we always say here, folks, right now is the most important time of this series, of this competition right now. If this is a one and done, that wouldn't be the case, but this is the time in between so that players like Ferraro can come forth and figure out exactly what they did wrong in this first game and how they want to switch it around, how they want to flip the script onto Jordu here for a game two and hopefully a tying series.
Yeah, if it was me, I'd probably stand up, stretch, twiddle my fingers a little bit, maybe see the chat, what they're saying, what I need to do, and get right back into it.
Absolutely, absolutely. If I know Twitch chat, they're just pouring congratulations and lauds onto both of these players and just an outward flowing fountain of positivity. What would you say?
I mean, hey, positivity is great on the internet all the time, man. Nothing but positivity.
Absolutely, absolutely. Once again, this is Javion Jordan or Jordu out of Alabama A&M, Alabama Agricultural
And
and
mining.
Manufacturing, right?
Oh, man.
Agriculture and Manufacturing.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm 99% sure that's right. University of North Georgia here for Ferraro. That's going to be ball really in Ferraro's court, right? You have a decision how you start this game again, right?
You do. It's definitely a small window. Shout out to Agricultural and Mechanical University.
Ah,
You got a very small window, especially coming from behind, right? To see what you're going to do to really upset the apple cart for your opponent. The last thing you want to do is make in this case for Jordu, sorry,
mhm.
for Jordu, play the same pace again in game two. Sorry about the nameplates. We'll have that switched again. I'm confused here in the booth. But what I'm saying is you got to be able to disrupt your opponent as quick as possible to make it your game.
100%, 100%. Mahomes sitting in the back. This is how this game started last time, and the first few plays were great. Once Bills defense kind of figured things out, it was a bit of a different story. This might be something worth talking about as well, because it seems like frequently when the running play is the song of the day, Jordu and Ferraro have different methods of running this ball.
Yeah,
Is that a fair
definitely.
statement?
If it's going to be a running play kind of situation, like how we have those pitcher duels in baseball or like the technical classics in boxing, yeah, you can really say the different flavor, but almost complementary, like a yin yang symbol. I do think when Kansas City was doing that in the first game, they were getting all the yards they needed, but then this lack of concentration costed them. They get kind of scared, and then you kind of go back into those shotgun long pass situations.
And the problem with reverting to this, the problem with always relying on that shotgun rolled out Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen, either side, will then run forth is that frequently A, you almost always have a cornerback covering the field in front of you, and B, it is simply just predictable. That is the biggest part of this is the predictability with which your offensive plays come if you're always relying on that big shotgun rollout play with nobody back, no running back behind with you trying to lock away. Pacheco, nicely done. User juke not once but twice as Pacheco goes for about 12.
I'm cautiously optimistic is the kind of plays I want to see, but these are also kind of plays we saw at first before that shift of strategy happened. But yes, Pacheco will get you yards every time it seems.
It really does. It really does. I mean, we saw this in real life. We've seen this here on the Madden field tonight. Pacheco is a workhorse. They call it horsepower for a reason. Rolling out to the right side. Mahomes all by himself, throwing off center. Valdez Scantley puts it to the corner, and that is going to be Ferraro striking first.
Oh, yeah, that caught the entire defense sleeping. That's what we're talking about. Because that would have been a run. That would have been a scramble. But to go out and opt for the long pass bomb, that's what you say, oh, man, that was confusing. That was creative. And that's 7 points.
It is 7 points. Taking a look at it again in the bottom left is the point after attempt is, today's day and age foregone conclusion. 59 passing yards. Patrick Mahomes lighting up this game early.
Well, it's early. It's early yet, but I do like that kind of speed, kind of what we were trying to do in that first game. And so they have the lead now. Let's see if they can add on to it before Buffalo wakes up.
Special teams is one of the teams here with it as well. People only talk about offense, defense. Hines not going to take this one out. Number 0 makes the 100 IQ play. 100 IQ? 200 IQ play, excuse me. I was going
Boo.
for like the 0 to 100 thing. Yeah, whatever.
Run it up. Run it up. I'm going to catch the ball in the parking lot. I'll still run it in. Why
There
not?
you go. I love it. I love it. We'll be going past you guys in the locker room. Still going to get to that end zone, folks. You have to tell me to stop like I'm Forrest Gump.
Smart play. Smart play.
Speaking of plays, this is Jordu, the offensive side of this football for the first time in this game number 2. They're putting the thumb screws on. That was a 35-14 game. Game number 1 of this best of 3 series. And just in case you're just joining us, folks, that's going to be a delay of game here. Had all the time in the world for the offense right here. But hey, again, they just want to earn it. All right. They don't feel like they've earned it unless they're going for more than 10 yards on a draw on a series.
We talk about almost every era in Madden being a mental one, but delay of game at this level is something that, unless you're distracted or looking for a specific play you dreamed about, I'm not sure why that would ever happen.
Yeah, and especially the way that these players can set up their favorites and whatnot and switch playbooks, even mid-game.
Oof.
It's a little bit confusing. Josh Allen, 1 for 1 for Shakir right here. 12 yards and 2nd and 3 is not too far away, especially when you have a man named James Cook on your team.
Yeah, so that's definitely a asset to have, but we're seeing now that it looks like Buffalo wants to be able to get those 7 points back as quick as possible. These are
Right
plays
there.
we saw deep in games, but now we're seeing them early.
Woo! Gabe Davis barely gets this one in. That is perfectly positioned. I'm talking 6 inches to the inside of the field. This would be not just a pick, but a running pick. And it'd be coming the other way here, Novanta. 1st and 10 after Buffalo Bills and Georgiou earned this one all day long.
Call that Top Gun because that was a pass right into the danger zone. You're lucky it wasn't the pick six.
Indeed. Speaking of danger zones, Gabe Davis gets, maybe an errant word, maybe a nary like, hey, you're not going to catch this something. He doesn't get even touched right there as the bomb lands. Let's take a look at this one again, Navanta.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. I see the pace of the touchdown Kansas City got. I really felt Buffalo said, "Oh yeah, we're going to make this into a hit parade." By all means.
Less than 3 minutes for 2 touchdowns in this one, folks. Kickoff coming. Perfectly timed, perfectly positioned. Probably not going to be getting Another return here, number 17 does
Ah.
not. Starting this one off at the 25.
You can't start and say I quit. You saw that, like he squatted down, like he was gonna be like Sonic the Hedgehog, and then he just dropped the knee.
Yep.
Run it out, let's do it.
No spinning legs necessary, although I'm sure it would help, folks. I'm sure it would help. Imagine
Yeah.
getting tackled and all of your coins fall out, all of
Oh
your rings
yeah,
fall out.
yeah, yeah. That's a 5 yard penalty, spin dashing. It's just
Love it. Love it. Screenplay, Kadarius Tony, K Tony gets out of the first one and almost gets out to the first down marker as well. Ferraro, yeah, who'd have guessed it here, Navanta? It's almost like they play a much better game when they don't start the game out with their fourth and fifth offensive plays being pick sixes.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that aggressive on defense. It eventually got them taken down, but to go through a user and truck them completely is enough to say, hey, look, we have a chance to come out ahead here.
Also, I mean, Kadarius Tony, awesome player, not necessarily a huge guy. You know what I'm saying? That these are some stat cornerbacks he's coming up against, and just weight wise, that is not the same just massive differential than you'll see say with Travis Kelsey, somebody else going up against a defensive player. 3rd and 1 coming in here as Mahomes sits back. Pacheco carries the rock, gets 2 or 3 yards, and that's plenty for the first down.
Not a huge guy. Say it to his face. I dare you.
Nope, I'm good. I'm good. Hey,
Yo,
they sent us
Tugboat
that
said
NFL
you
draft.
tiny.
Yeah, dude, yeah, that's the day. That'll be the day. Hilarious, hilarious. Some part of me is freaking out that Kadarius Toney is actually watching this right now. I know it's
oh,
not, but, like, very, very unlikely. Not gonna
oh,
say
he will.
impossible. Very unlikely. There's Kadarius Toney yet again.
Oh, and Tony is just doing more for the Kansas City Chiefs. Much like how you can do more for yourself and your future by joining the National Guard. Learn more at nationalguard.com.
Yes, sir, sir. Heavily stacked left side. Fake handoff there to number 10. Valdez Scantling almost keeps on his feet, but a spinning play. Ballerina hits the ground for only 1 yard.
That was fun to watch. It's almost like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed to hit that gentleman. Let me just fall down next to him. But yeah, I love again the aggressiveness on offense is so great to see.
And it's like, no, no, no. The flop goes the other way. It goes the other way. You're supposed to do the other thing. Into the first quarter here, tied ball game, which I'm not sure is a statement I believe I would have made. Halfway through the first game. This is a fantastic job here from Ferraro bringing this one back from an unlikely, unoptimal situation. Game
Yeah,
number 1.
if you're Jordy, it's a tie that feels like a loss because you feel like they're not as cohesive they are in the first one. They're still in this one by any means, but it does seem that they have their number, and that's another juke there heading towards home, and that is so close to being yet another score there for Kansas City.
Fantastic, fantastic. This is like as a screenplay that just ends up working again. It's been attempted left, right, and center. This one to the left side works perfectly as Kadarius Toney now going to be taking that workhorse title of the offense here for the Kansas City Chiefs. Pacheco putting in a little bit more than 5 yards per rush. It's fantastic. He's gotten several first downs, but it's Kadarius Toney thus far.
You know what? It's like having a lucky quarter in your pocket. Old reliable Pacheco. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Old Reliable comes in yet again. Workhorse gets up to about the 5 yard line. Not a whole lot on this previous one, but again, it's the shaking up of the offensive play calling. They'll keep defense on their toes.
That's always great. I do want to see more scores, but I like the fact the game is tied, so I have equal parts dope and equal parts awe at the same moment.
Okay, so Mahomes does get out here, pushing for the corner. There's still a throw, but I believe that he was actually passed. Yeah, illegal forward pass. That's about as bad as a situation as you get if you're Ferraro.
Yeah, half the team was out there willing to celebrate, but it's unfortunate, huh?
Yes. Take a look at that one again. We'll see just how close they get to the line as the extra 3 points is good. And another lead taken for Ferraro. Taking a look at Pip, folks. You can see where that line is, and that was way ahead of it. He's just kind of like started the jump. Rule is that any part of the player has to be behind the line. That there was no part of the player that was behind the line on that one.
Hey, it takes some points where you can get them, and it was really much a smart play to go for the field goal, despite the fact that the crowd wanted another go at that touchdown.
Hey, yeah, they want scores just like us, and 2 minutes 47 left on this clock here. I would not put it past. We're going to get at least some more points, if not a tie game, maybe even a lead here. I'm going to hear from Jordu. I don't think Jordu is possessed this ball for longer than 80 seconds or so and not resulted in 7 points.
Well, that's when you know you're good, right? Why not?
100%. 100%. Well, I take that back. Maybe the end of the game last time where they were just trying to run the clock out, but obviously different situation right there.
Yeah.
One rush, 2 yards.
Out of the shotgun, it really didn't really go anywhere. I'm not sure if that was what they were drawing up, but hey, some gains are better than a loss, right? Maybe? Question mark?
I'm with it. I'm with it. The old mantra is 3 yards cloud of dust will get you a first down on every drive, but is not this. That's the big bomb, and that's Gabe Davis once again showing up here for the Buffalo Bills.
Craning his
Stephon
neck so back
Diggs.
to defy the laws of physics. See that?
Yeah, like turning all the way like an owl right there and plucks this one out of the air silent as that flight path is completed here. Second past the 2-minute warning. And yeah, so it's been Gabe Davis here on the day so far. No Stephon Diggs really. I mean, obviously the offensive pressure that a player like Stephon Diggs will always yield is fantastic. But when you're talking about yards on the field and progression towards points, that's been this Gabe Davis player so far. Shakir gets the screen pass, gets some fantastic blocking, and gets out. Yeah, almost to the first down.
Yeah, it's about a half a foot, maybe a couple toes here short of the first down. And you're right. Some of the players we're come to expect and appreciate are not really being used. And I'm not sure if it's a situation to try to outthink your opponent to the point of outthinking yourself, but you're still coming down from a deficit.
Looking for a larger gain here. That's Cook, as this was pretty wide open. Gets up for about 15, right on the 10-yard line. Now, what will Jordu do here in the red zone? Seen last trip here, they put on 7 on the board. They are down, of course, by 3 points. 10 seconds to go right here. You have 2 plays, maybe, both with timeouts on the end if they stay on the inside. And then you got to go for 3.
Yeah, I think that's the name of the game there. That last drive could have been a little bit closer had they decided to run on the end instead of trying to cut back in, but I'm just splitting hairs at this point.
Cook, another reception, gets out. Got to be a timeout. And now it's crunch time here for Jordy. You kick 3, tie this game going into the second half here after putting a shellacking to Ferraro in game number 1. Are you going for it here?
Yeah.
Quick pass, and that's going to be the attempt here. A single timeout left. Got to say, I might do the same.
This is why Madden is not the NFL, because there's an element
Yeah.
there of just showing up and showing out. Touchdown.
Nicely done. James Cook whips around to grab this one right at hip level, and that's another 6 on the board. 7 coming in for Jordu. That's split right down the uprights perfectly in a 4-point game we have. This was a 14-point game last time. Ferraro and being able to put up 14 right there. Jordu put up 28 at the half, or before the half, excuse me.
Just enough for no team to feel like they have any bit of breathing room. But this is something we were talking about, taking the lumps in the first game and applying what you learned. It definitely feels like Ferraro brought a whole new Chief squad out there,
Oh.
and they're at home.
Yeah, speaking of, this is deep coverage all the time. They don't like swimming in that 3-foot area. This is all like the 10-foot side of the pool. Here's everybody's pulled back. You have 7 cornerbacks just covering this. The easily forecasted Hail Mary.
Oh, interesting.
The big man, 65. Okay, I wouldn't want to try and tackle that guy. The pass backwards there from Patrick Mahomes at least gets a little bit of excitement. Interesting play there before the first half.
Yeah, I understand it, but I almost felt like there was a clear path to not even attempt the pass back. That was almost dangerous. Thought it was going to be picked off in between. But again, maybe I'm just being a negative Nancy there. Love the fact that the deep zone totally backfired. So, if you're Buffalo, what do you have up your sleeve now?
See how that gets answered here in quarter number 3, starting right now. Diggs back. Fair catch. 25. Not going to get answered yet.
Man, listen, just one time. Just one
Man,
time for me. Just got me a 75-yard run. Is that so hard to ask?
I'm with it. Explosive plays. Would love it. See how Jordu yields these explosive plays. That is okay, well, that's a little bit of coverage. Circle is wide open across the middle of the field, but going to be some yardage right here. Kansas City allowing 1 rushing yards. Oh, yeah, because James Cook has been catching rocks. They're falling from the sky.
I think you mentioned a little bit of an issue there, how you're just falling in love with the same targets over and over again. You have some open options and you kind of go to the ones that feel more safe to you. Hey, it works and have it now, but if things start to go off, if things start falling off the wheels, you don't want to be put yourself in a box while only trusting one or two targets.
100% agreed. 100% agreed. Dawson Knox was utilized in game number 1, not so much here in game 2. Shakir, even more so than Diggs, has been name called on the day. Speaking of Diggs, that's
Oh,
the biggest bomb of game 2 thus far. 217 as Josh Allen remains perfect. 17 on 17. Novanta.
what a fantastic catch and some more yards after the catch. I thought it was one juke too often, but still, get yourself in that red zone. Why not?
Indeed. Rush play right up the middle, gets a couple of yards. Kansas City, Ferraro, gotta say, I mean, you saw the stat on here earlier. Gotta repeat it. Shutting down the running game so far when James Cook gets the handoffs. When it's a pass, it's a different story. Fantastic stuff. This is gonna be another 6 on the board here for the Buffalo Bills. And
Okay, so two
Jordan.
things are happening here. One, the Buffalo Bills are waking up offensively, but two, you're seeing them trying to go as fast as possible. I think getting scored on first opened up a whole new interpretation of what this game means to them. And unfortunately, if Kansas City doesn't stop this down on this next particular drive, it may be the end.
Yeah, the difference between this game and our game number 1 was A, defensive performances, no defensive points on the board. B, Bills and Ferraro, or and Kansas City, excuse me, Jordu and Ferraro have both gone forth and consistently scored in each of these quarters so far. Now it's Ferraro's turn to put some points on the Kansas City side of this scoreboard.
Well, I mean, the way the defense has been going, giving Mahomes such a lane to run, but there's nowhere to run
Mm,
there. Sack
mm,
City.
mm. Lane to run and gets flattened right there as number 40 talks about the cradle that Von Miller just put Patrick Mahomes into. 2-minute warning would be in the third quarter right now if that was a thing, but it's not. 7 seconds does this run down. His players just trying to get in a position right now. This is not a whole lot of time to call audibles. Mahomes does get this off, takes the first step back to about the 5-yard line across the body, and Kadarius Toney got sticky pads on his gloves today. Has not dropped very much.
Look like he got clotheslined, man. WWE style. That was rough. Yo, refs, what's going on?
Cue the theme music here, folks. Cue the theme music. That's something Navanta is very, very familiar with.
Oh yeah, man. Hey, WrestleMania season is inbound. I'm all about that. Let's go.
Love it. Love it. 3rd and 7. Tony put onto the left side right here is Travis Kelsey. Holds up the right side solo dolo, running right across the line, stays in the pocket, and Valdez Scantling. This is some mega blown coverage. So Valdez Scantling was not handed off on the far side left corner back here. This is some deep coverage called yet again, but these defensive players have got to get there, and yet again, wide open. There's Kadarius Toney. Give him 2. Count him 2-2 on the board here, Novanta.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the plan was offensively. Was it to really have pressure of Pat Mahomes? Was it really to cover the deep zone? Because it failed at both. Two passes back to back, and now it's an even closer game.
Looking at 8 coming in here total, 2-point conversion. Now this is where it makes sense because 18-21, even I can do that math. Pacheco doing his best James Cook impression as the running back that's coming in to save the day with the reception yet again. 18-21, we have got a ball game on our hands, Novanta.
Like we said before in that last drive, that it was everything for the Chiefs to get on the board, and they did what they had to do with an extra point for Sauce. Now it's a field goal away at the fourth and overtime, and I can tell you this is way better than game one.
Of our 8 quarters so far between these two, I have to agree this last quarter will be far and away the most important. That's whether or not Jordu comes forth and scores in the next 30 seconds. Regardless, Ferraro has been playing this one tooth and nail and will not be giving up anytime soon until that clock strikes triple zeros.
I know we talked about this in jest not last game, but that home of the
Mm,
Chiefs buff, man, I think that could be a little bit of that offensive, so to say, the audible
mhm.
detracting of the opponent team because a lot of things aren't working for them right now.
Oh my, this is working fantastically though as James Cook is breaking away. kind of a weird like shoulder-led run right there as the stamina was nearing the red zone, but 283 yards allowed for the Kansas City Chiefs defense. Taking a look at the fourth quarter, and James Cook busting off a big old run.
This is one of the times you go, look, I like the fact that Madden is the most accurate football game on the planet, but don't accurately depict stamina running 100 yards. Come on. Yeah, trip down there.
Yeah, like I get it. Obviously, taking those hits along the line will wear you down, but man, oh man, that is gonna be really, really glad that not only the catch was made, not just dropped, but this was not a pick play coming back the other way. Cook was looking to get in the kitchen on that one.
Yeah, the pass was not completed, but you're right. It could have gone the other way easy. Second and 10 here for Josh Allen and company. Let's see what they're going to have.
Audibles and audibles again. Brought a little bit closer to the right side is James Cook. Josh Allen sitting back. That was at least forecasted. A lot of slants. And here it comes way out there. And the zone coverage of the Kansas City Chiefs defense gets popped like a balloon yet again. Last 2 minutes or so, nobody can cover the mild to deep pass, or moderate to deep pass, excuse me.
Yeah, you wait a long enough and everyone kind of sees which way you're thinking defensively, and there's always a hole to exploit that. But then 10 more points separate these two teams, but you have an eternity and almost 5 minutes left in quarter four.
5 minutes, three timeouts, plus a 2 minute warning. Ferraro is not going to be feeling that pressure quite yet. Fair catch called. That is something that should change as this game goes further, but I'm not saying right now, Devonta. I also want to see the kick sixes. I do not believe it is at the time period, given the current scoreline, to attempt those yet.
Okay, man's playing conservative. I like that about Tugboat. Let's see if everyone leaves the same way you do, or are you going to see more Hail Marys and 75-yard passes?
And again, this isn't full on crunch time yet. Full on crunch time is pretty much an onside kick like being forced, right? With 4 minutes and 44 seconds left on this clock, Ferraro should have plenty of sand in the hourglass with which to work.
Wow, I like it. These are alive.
Chronological resource, dude. Chronological resource. That's what I said in a Rocket League cast once when I was trying to buy time.
Yeah, you got sundial too, or what?
Of course, dude. Of course. Free clock, dude. Why wouldn't you? No electricity needed. Don't talk about those cloudy days, okay?
Right.
Mahomes all day to Tony. I feel like, oh, that is going to be broken up there. Looked like the pass was made. Now that's broken up right there. And Kadarius Tony going to have one of his first drops of the night.
That had hands on it on the way down, but it was the impact of hitting the ground. Call that ball to be knocked loose. It was a good call by the refs, even though it was kind of spicy if you're a Chiefs fan.
What they say, ball can not cause a fumble. Ball can cause an incompletion, though. So we see that one up here. Kadarius Tony, much shorter pass gets laid down at the line of scrimmage, or about 3 yards past the line of scrimmage, excuse me. His first down does get taken. 3.5 minutes, is 60 or so has been burned off of this clock on this drive alone.
I wonder what's going through Kansas City's mind. They have to score at least twice. I wonder if you're going to do the whole conservative thing about getting the field goal first or not with shots like that.
Travis Kelce just kind of handheld all the way to the outside. That's going to stop this clock as Travis Kelce comes in. One reception, 25 yards, going to be the impressive of those two stats. So 87, 12, 19. Kelce, Tony.
Kelce was
Believe that's, yeah, Rasheed Rice, right? Number 19?
Yeah.
Oh, Mecole Hardman Jr. Never mind. I got him mixed up again.
You had Kelsey, the team that was kind of be having a quiet campaign, coming big with that one.
Ooh,
Oh,
Mecole Hardman taking this one key right through the lock on that one. Any slimmer, and then this ball wouldn't have been big enough to catch. Oh, nice. Tony gets his way on the inside of this, and we got a ball game on our hands yet again, my friend.
oh my goodness. Just in a blink of an eye, two tricks of a lamb's tail, or whatever euphemism you want to use. It is now a 4-point game en route to being a 3-point game. It's good. What is going through the minds of Jordy right now?
It's got to be a waste clock time situation. You're staring at 3 timeouts and a 2-minute warning. I am not thinking the onside kick yet. You have plenty of time. Ferrara has plenty of time. Trust your defense in these situations. And this is going to be giving up such great field position as Gabe Davis on the catch. The special teams play. Buffalo Bills in a fantastic scoring position.
I know it seems like a long time, and it kind of is if you're trying to be objective about it. But when you're on the pitch yourself, you're on the field yourself. Excuse me. The time has a whole different rule set. Maybe they felt like it was time to pull that ripcord.
Huh. I hear you. I hear you. What's going through the minds of these players right now?
Ah!
Yeah,
Oh
that's
my
James
goodness!
Cook with a fantastic player juke yet again to get all day forward. That is a 22-yard run, 32-yard run, excuse me. Math is hard, people.
That is like one of those cartoons where the giant fight cloud happens and one character walks out. That was cool, man. That was a juke that was heard around the world.
That's Jerry jumping in the cloud or Tom jumping in the cloud and Jerry just, on the other side of the train tracks, just kind of hanging out, chilling. James Cook is the only time I'm going to refer to him as a mouse.
Yeah, because Tugboat says everyone's tiny. Confirmed.
Yeah, that is not the case. That is not the case. I'm walking back to Kadarius Tony every second of this broadcast so far. It seems
He knows
to
where you
pay
live,
for it.
bro.
Kadarius Tony showing up at my house to talk to the internet haters. Josh Allen, and that might have just put this game on ice here, people. Touchdown coming on it here. This is crunch time for the Ferraro-led Kansas City Chiefs. If we get another 10-point game, even if this missed this 9-point game, that's 2 scores by my calculations. Take a look at how this one happened again.
Oof, Josh Allen, Thanos level. Fine, I'll do it myself. Walking it in there. Wow. What an exclamation point.
Yeah, I got the fantastic blocking downfield right there. Perfectly legal. Everything good. 2 minutes, 3 seconds on this kickoff. Now, are we going to see the attempt? If I'm Giorgio, I want to tease this a little bit, right? I want to make this appealing here. I want to put it out to about the 2-yard line.
Close you can get.
Yeah, James going to be able to fair catch this one on inside, and 25 will be the start. Actually, this makes a lot more sense, right? Because you don't run this clock from 2 minutes to a 3, essentially giving yourself another timeout.
Yeah, it's one of those clock management things that may be the only tool that Kansas City has at the ready, being able to set and reset when needed.
Speaking of, across the body, and that's the pick to ice this game. Lewis thundering down the field, gets it behind the big man and tackled at the 3-yard line. I knew this Buffalo Bills defense was going to show up eventually, but it's a better late than never situation for Jordu and this squad out of New York.
Yeah, it was definitely a 40 chess situation. Having the pressure on the run with a sack attempt and had to throw it downtown, and it was running, waiting for the sea of white jerseys to go the other way.
Yeah, it really was running the ball here. No reason to do anything else. Ferraro with a pair of timeouts here to try and make this a different situation. Davis almost gets pushed inside right here. Gotta call this one as you force a fumble, you force a whole lot otherwise. You force an incomplete pass to stop this clock with 1:46. As long as you can get no points on the board right here.
That was a very strong tackle, probably out of frustration for the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think spines are supposed to bend that way, but you can see the frustration on that entire sea of red. It's unfortunate because they were so close. They have the game in their hand, and watching it slip away, it's frustrating for anyone.
2 more runs coming in here. If I know anything about professional football,
Football.
late clock hitting 5. Thank you, appreciate you. Cook right there. Another run. This game is over. Even with a field goal, even with a kneel, whichever one, as long as this play clock runs down, this one is done and dusted. It is a categorical fact that Ferraro cannot score more than 10 points within a single play as well. So even if this does get started, it will not be ended in a result that will be favorable
Wow, wow,
for
wow.
Ferraro.
Please
Hey,
do not
I'm
do
just being
my
honest.
eulogy, man. You just like pile on. They can't win. They can't win. No chance of winning. What are we doing?
It's just not
Yikes.
possible, folks. It's just not
Wow.
possible.
Positive tugboat over here. It's just-
Hey, you got to give the people what they want, and if that's a dose of realism, so it shall be. Game 1 was a blowout run away. Game 2 cannot be described as that one legally.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. Did seem being at home for the Chiefs gave them a little bit of edge to get themselves in this game. And for a long time in this game, it definitely was anyone's game. But when it all said and done, it was the pressure. Mahomes in the run, giving up that interception right to a sea of white was a difference maker.
Yeah, it really was. It seems like these moderate passes from these two players here. I mean, but both got interceptions, of course, right? Both players got interceptions across these two games, but only one of them was able to put it into points, not once but twice, and that was within a single game. The point differential will sing a song that sounds like offense here in Avanta, but this was a defensive-minded game from the very start of game one to the very end of game number two.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fancy that way of putting it there. But you're absolutely right because look, it really was some scores with some things, but it was also how much can you do under pressure, what lanes you use. So many of these passes came from people being wide open. It really was a defensive. I won't say masterclass because there was some mistakes on both sides of it, but definitely how defense can collapse and cause you to concede points.
It seems like both teams really like just trimmed the fat off the edges here in game number two, and we had a much better, high quality football. Now, something different we're doing this week. We are going to be getting a little interview action going with the winner here with Jordu in just a little bit. Folks behind the scenes getting that one set up. So let's talk a little bit more about this game right here. Going off previous point, it really seemed like the gameplay was turned up another notch here in game number two, and I mean both sides. Now, the easy thing to blame this on would be like home field advantage for the Chiefs in game two. Obviously, game one, home field advantage going for the Buffalo Bills and whatnot. Logic would follow if this was a tie game, we would have gone to a neutral site for game three, no advantage either team right here. But playing the home field advantage and playing against the home field advantage, that's another big reason why Jordu came out on top.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it takes a lot to win home and away. That tells that you are better at it mechanically. That proves it, right? You won once, you won twice. I will say, even at home, there were some quirks that gave us a little bit more of an edge. Those weren't there. And I think there was a first half of that game where Jordan struggled mightily, where it could have felt like it was going to be coming down to frustration. But that's when you put your eyebrows down, nose to the grindstone, whatever analogy you want to use, and find ways to win. At the end of it, it did feel like the Buffalo Bills of old in game one was tacked on the end of game two.
Yeah, like this is like a lot of momentum too that came from that game one into game two as well, Novanta. There's a lot of like mental factor that comes in here. This is always what we talk about is during those most important times, during these times in between games when players are consulting with friends, with coaches, maybe even again, all of these players being represented from various collegiate organizations or universities all across this great nation. What this was University of North Georgia and Alabama A&M. That's uh, yeah, yeah. So that's two states pretty much right. Yeah, right next to each other, Alabama and Georgia. I got my geography mixed up there for a second, Avanta. We're not going to talk about the fact that I literally spent the first 28 years of my life a state over from this. I should probably know.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you're the Southern guy. Like I'm from Brooklyn. I should be like, what's that?
Which borough is that in? I'm not 100% sure.
Right. Yeah. Well,
Oh,
we're getting that interview done, set up as momentarily. I have a lot of questions about the
yep.
pace of play here and offense and defense. But the one thing I really want to know is how much of a buff it is to play at Arrowhead for the Chiefs
Yep.
squad, especially if you're the road team. That's something I would like to put on top of my agenda as we get this up momentarily.
Yeah, absolutely. Of the same mind here in Avanta. Obviously, like there is a statistical advantage within game, but how that really plays out, it's so interesting sitting down and talking with Madden players about how much they think these effects really come into with Madden 24. That said, we're just going to go to a very short break, folks, while we get this interview set up, and we'll be back with Jordu on the horn with us in just a moment.
We get how uncertain the future is. We've come of age in a complex world, face to face with problems we didn't create. So what's gonna happen next? We are. Because our future is the future. The life we have chosen has prepared us for this. So we're going to build bridges and hospitals in a day. We're going to save families from disasters and feed those left in the cold. We're going to do all this and more because we have an appointment with destiny. We invite you to join us. The next greatest generation is now.
Hello and welcome back here. We are done with the first match of the day, an absolute classic on the field. FBI Tugboat here with Novanta, as we're getting to sit down with the winning player of our previous matchup here, Novanta.
Now, I got, we were talking about this before we went live. I got questions upon questions. What we saw was a classic from end to end. The guy came out, shut out, and did the dang thing. I'm hyped.
Absolutely, absolutely. Game one was a bit more of a one-sided affair. Second game, you had to end it, but we are here and we are live with Jordu. Jordu, how are you feeling on the day?
I'm feeling ecstatic, man.
I love it. I love it. Now, what wanted to ask a little bit about this previous game. Navanta's got a similar question about last weekend to now. I wanted to ask you what happened between game one and game two. What changed between these two games that led to a much closer scoreline?
I know in game one, I had a lot of forced turnovers, right? So I knew that wouldn't be like a current thing between games. So I knew I had to keep my foot on the pedal the first game and then come back the second game and do what I do. So all them interceptions and fumbles that I got the first game, I knew it wouldn't come the second game. But I knew I could do what I need to do to win the game.
Love that. Love that. Navanta?
You know, last week we were a little bit confused with this series starting today. We thought you were the Chiefs because last week you played as the Chiefs. And so the idea to switch back to the Bills, walk us through that process.
Originally, my main team is the Bills, and the whole week before the final 8 from last weekend, I was practicing with the Chiefs because I wanted to give a different look because I felt like I was playing against an opponent that could do some scouting on me, so I wanted to switch it up. But honestly, I went back to what I knew. No different game plans, no nothing, just straight kill, if that makes sense.
I mean, that does make sense. That first game was absolutely lopsided, but definitely going to Arrowhead in game two felt like a different vibe. We talked about the differences and changes there, but we were trying to debate the amount of that feeling of playing at Arrowhead. Does it really impact the game that much, or it was just a slow start for you as you roll into game two?
No, it really does play a big part in the game because playing at Arrowhead, you can't really do any audibles or formations. Like you have to do it 2 or 3 times, and it slows me down. And as y'all can tell, I'm a very fast-paced player. So when I gotta do an audible 2, 3 times, it slow me down, make me think a little bit more.
Yeah, we saw the situation that happened multiple times on the field, and the quick audibles back and forth because obviously home field advantage. You can kind of see some of what players are going to and stuff. Obviously, a little bit more complicated than just I simply put it. Wanted to ask. You mentioned some other players maybe doing some scouting on you, Jordu. Are there any other players within this competition specific that you'd be really looking forward to playing against?
I saw on my side of the bracket, I didn't see any names that I recognized, but on the other side, I saw Noah up next, and I see Gabagool. So hopefully we get to the top 8 and see them next weekend. That'll be fun. But I gotta focus on my next test. Should be coming up in about 15 minutes.
Absolutely. Devonta?
Man's gotta go. We gotta wrap this up because there's a lot more Madden action coming down. We got one more question for you. Is there anyone you want to shout out there? The AMU fam, friends, family. Now's the time, my friend.
I want to shout out the AMU Gaming Club, the AMU esports team. We on the rise. We coming up, and hopefully y'all hear more about us soon.
Performance like that, I'd call that a guarantee. Jordu, thank you again for coming on in, giving us a slice of the mind inside the player's mind, right? Just right after the game, really very much appreciate you, and good luck on your future competitions.
Thank you all. Y'all have a blessed day.
You too, sir. You too. Fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff. We've seen a lot of back and forth in that game too there, Novanta.
I gotta be honest with you. It takes a lot for someone to say, hey, look, this isn't working. I gotta make a change, go back to what I know, back to basics. Sometimes ego gets in. You say, I'll make it work. But hey, look, if anyone has that kind of a level-headed attitude, they're gonna go far in any kind of tournament play.
Yeah, seriously, especially with what? So we were originally going off on like the one and done type game mode. We decided, hey, that's not it. Best of 3 is how this competition should be done. But at the end of the day, you lose a match that is still single elimination. No loser side of the bracket here on the day with our Rally Cry Madden series. Be looking at 2 more players taking the field in just a little bit. Be very, very exciting. See who these 2 are. I'm FBI Tugboat. I'm here with my man Novanta. We'll be back with you in just a couple of minutes. Welcome back, Madden fans, to the Cry Collegiate Series. FBI Tugboat here with my man Novanto. We just had
Hey.
Jordu on the horn here to kind of give us a look inside the mind of the player post game. Sat down with him, fantastic interview. Go back and watch it if you did miss it. We are continuing on with Jordu on the broadcast, though, Novanto, are we not?
What? No, it's true. It's got work from production. We're going to see a double feature with Georgiou and this day taking on Jaden LBU in a matchup coming up momentarily. So it's kind of cool to see the inside of the player, then see how they put it to action as they move on here this afternoon.
Absolutely. Absolutely. A fan favorite, crowd favorite. You guys asked for him. Jordu back on the broadcast here. So this is Jordu once again out of Alabama A&M, which is, of course, agricultural and mechanical. I had to write it down, guys, not manufacturing. But going to be taking on Jaden LBU out of the Southern University system that is, of course, Louisiana. So we have another Southern matchup. Jordu just making his way from North Georgia on into Louisiana. Keep on going. We'll see him in Houston or something like that all along the Gulf Coast later. I don't know.
And I love the fact we're shouting out these schools because they are so integral to our system. The esports programs are growing, and Rally Cry gets to be on the ground floor. I tell you, this is why this is so hype, my friend.
Yeah, yeah, we got to do it again, right? Navanta and I simply came from a time when opportunities like this simply were not in existence yet. It is fantastic. It is awe-inspiring. It warms the heart and the soul to see these kinds of opportunities afforded to collegiate players. And this isn't just a lot of collegiate tournaments. You see a lot of them scholarship. That's not the case. Even if it was just scholarship, there's of course a little bit after that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So not only is the scholarships too, it's all about the community before and after as well. And the fact that you're being a part of it makes it that much greater. So yeah, everyone's all around. Shout out to everyone around for this one, especially the National Guard too, for putting their hat in the proverbial ring, being a contributor to this one, nationalguard.com. This is going to be, well, this is a fantastic tournament, but the winners have a possibility to go to the NFL draft. I mean, that just blows my mind.
Yeah, the way I'm reading this as well over there on the website, guys, you guys can follow along if you'd like to over there at rallycry.gg. The way I'm reading this as well is that the top two winners out of all four of these qualifiers, they're going to be fighting between $2,500 and $1,500, are going to be doing their championship, going to be having that live competition at the NFL draft. That is again what I'm reading from the top two advanced NFL draft for live championship. That's about as good as it gets, people. That's about as good as it gets. Not just the opportunity to put your skills on display within the great game of Madden 24 in front of the world, but to be able to do it with what is quantifiably the next class of NFL player going to be coming in and playing on Sundays. Fantastic stuff. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, just being next to greatness. I mean, rookies are being part of the whole draft process, and it's you making sure you take home the entire bag. Wow.
Love it. And there you go. We're finally going to see it. Finally going to see it. Our Baltimore squad has been snubbed on picks thus far. We've seen Philly, we've seen Kansas City, we've seen the Jets even on the very first day of broadcast. And of course, we've seen the Bills left, right, and center, Kansas City Chiefs everywhere, pretty much in every single matchup so far. This is going to be one without the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, well, that one, yes, praise be everything. But two, we're the Texans. But three, you're absolutely right. Like I just said about the Buffalo Bills about 2 seasons ago, they really had a stealthy playbook. The Ravens are also kind of on that bubble scene, quote unquote. You don't really see them a lot in competitions, but they can do heavy damage. I'm telling you, don't sleep on the Baltimore side.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. To continue the theme of what we've been talking about as well, as far as competitive NFL teams that translates to competitiveness within Madden 24, rushing quarterbacks. This is Lamar Jackson going to be not just throwing the rock, but carrying the rock as well here for Baltimore. Josh Allen showed the wheels that he's got attached to the bottom of his legs as well in the earlier one. So, got to say, a stifling Buffalo Bills defense. We heard Jordy talk a little bit about what these individual players can do, how you don't just always have to opt for one single player on the defense there for the Buffalo Bills, and how those other players can go forth and really get you decisions where you are going to be coming out on top, even though if you're not necessarily controlling that star player.
Well, that's absolutely right there, Tugboat. And but the question I have moving into this series here is seeing Jordan early today, is that an advantage or disadvantage? Jaden LDU is probably taking notes, or should be taking notes that last series, and now they have to put it into practice. At the same time, we saw it a very adaptable, a very dynamic Georgiou being able to come what may and really change your attack. So I'm curious to see what happens in this best of three.
Come what may, and bring it on. That was the central theme of what Jordu had there. I love the mentality that player had, with just kind of, yeah, NFL draft would be great. I'm playing the next game in front of me. Speaking of, that one's starting in just a little bit here. Gus Edwards, Lamar Jackson, going to be showing up here for the Baltimore Ravens. This is going to be the Ravens receiving the first. Obviously, the Bills taking it in the second. Tyler Bass has his hands up right here, scared to move it. Simon didn't say so. Simon now says the kick is coming off.
Well, as knowing how much that Buffalo knows how to score, okay. Knowing how much Buffalo knows how to score, and they're receiving in the third, I got to make sure the Baltimore puts numbers on that board early.
Yeah, so this is definitely coaching decisions coming in here. Of course, something that's been recently added within the Madden series is the ability to pick not just offensive and defensive playbooks, but like from other teams, but also tune those as well to their respective NFL coaches within the game. It really does bring a new level of competition within the game, as well as like an unprecedented level of customization
Don't
and the
call me an
various.
old man yelling at a cloud, but talk about analysis by paralysis, man. Look, back in my day, you got the book of the team you chose and you made it work. Maybe I'm just kind of too old school these days, but no, I'm just kidding. Madden gives you a lot of ways to customize your team, and of course, it's super important as you go into tournament play because if you're able to outwit your opponent, the game is very much half done for you.
Yeah, this is a mental game back and forth all the way through. One of the most complicated sports. What's the quote talking about football? Like the most complicated sport, like played professionally in today's day and age. I don't remember.
Mhm.
Okay, a unique look. What's the dodgeball quote? It's an interesting strategy. We'll see how that pans off for them. Starting this one out with an offsides for Buffalo Bills defense.
Yeah, the coach recall the first play of the game is something that was not on my bingo card, but more importantly, I didn't have a bingo card. I should have had one.
There you go. There you go. The mental factor coming in here, right? Like I will literally start the first snap behind your line of scrimmage, sir. This is where I'm going to be living. It's where you'll see me again here soon. Mike Hyde, Dodds Lewis being controlled on the defense right now as Jackson's back into the shotgun right now. Audibles upon audibles. Jordy talked about how multiple audibles is going to be really acquired here. That is going to be Mr. Mitchell right up the middle. One rush for 10 yards.
Yeah, the high step over to get a couple yards in the air. That's only a taste to come. I like this kind of dynamic play. 'Cause I didn't see it coming. I was so used to it being the end of the play, but that'd be the kind of thing to watch out as the game rolls on.
Yeah, established in the running game early right here with a man not named Lamar Jackson. To be putting Jaden in a pretty good position to start this one out. Surveying the field as of right now, picking plays. Another audible called as receivers spread off the left side of this field. That's a fat sack right across the middle as Micah Hyde gets involved and makes a statement.
Well, the way the ball was received, I thought it was going to be the most swaggiest play ever, but it ain't swaggy if you're getting sacked over it.
Oh, it is not. Oh, it is not. Wow, 8 yards all the way back here. This is something we talked plenty about earlier in Avanta and about the dropping back of quarterbacks. Now, if you can get the ball out, fantastic. If not, situations like that will abound.
Usually I would sit there and say you're absolutely right. It should be not do that. But the last game in the last series, we saw so many open plays come from that sort of play. So I can't knock anyone for trying that in the first quarter. But if you're going to lose 8 yards per attempt, probably not be something you do all too often.
Speaking of positive yardage, that's Keaton Mitchell. Another big run right here to make this first down a little bit more manageable. Now 3rd and 11. Let's take a look at this run again as Baltimore has not really thrown the rock thus far.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much a slow highlight. I do think there's going to be more inbound, but right here was definitely a smart play to do that, to draw out the defense and say almost a warning shot of what they could possibly do.
Mark Andrews, we see that as the star player factor here right off the left side of the line as Lamar Jackson calling for a little bit more. Only got one bailout player to the right, Keaton Mitchell. Excuse me, Mitchell. Yeah, Keaton Mitchell, sorry. Put on out to the right side. I got to say, pretty much everybody opting for the PlayStation as well. I'm not sure if we've seen an Xbox player yet, have we?
Well, I mean, allow me to poo-poo and boo-hoo that, but I love the
Let's
way
hear
that the Duke fits in my hands. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna be honest with you, with the PlayStation controller, I think there's a whole generation of players that grew up with PS1, 2, 3, 4. It's almost like muscle memory. Once you get yourself acclimated, that smaller controller, it's hard to change.
100% agreed. 100% agreed. I think the tests that have been done on and whatnot would share your opinion on that. As Keaton Mitchell, 3 rushes, 25 yards. We're looking at better than 8 yards per rush. This is a Georgia Buffalo Bills defense that was able to shut down running plays, but that was against a different team, a different player entirely.
It does feel like there's two teams here that are just trying to like bust through the door on Black Friday, and no one's really found a way to get through it yet. And when that does happen, it might be an absolute hit parade.
100% agreed. 100% agreed. Floodgates looking to get opened up right now. Is that's just going to be moving the change? No. Excuse me. Keaton Mitchell does not get there. Is Von Miller going to be getting involved, the star defensive player for the Bills? First tackle on the day. This is a tough one. This is a tough one, right? Because you have run the ball 3 times in a row right now. Now with nobody back, this should just be, yeah, shotgun back to Lamar Jackson. I'm just putting him right up on the line. Now bringing in a whole lot of players providing aforesaid blocking and whatnot. If I was a gambling man, this is okay. Excuse me. Rashad
Oh,
Bateman gets out. That's still 4th and inches. Maybe I feel a little bit vindicated, Navanta.
no, you should be vindicated. That should have been a running play. Didn't work out for them, but it was one juke away for a first down. I hope they don't come to rue that play. But the last passing one didn't go far either. So who do you blame?
It's entirely fair. Entirely fair. Lamar Jackson's got the wheels. Get this one done. Pass or hand off. Excuse me. Mitchell gonna be getting up to that one. We have 7 plays so far for the Baltimore Ravens attempted. 2 of them are passing plays, and I think I have a grand total of about 4 yards.
Well, that's a really darning stat, huh? But it's still early yet.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you can add on to that to make that a little less cringe as this rolls on.
I mean, I love the running plays, especially establishing this one early when you have a lot of time to play with before you hit that second half, and clock management really becomes a part of the conversation. Now, back yet again, full back position for Keaton Mitchell as this one's off to the right side. A race to the out of bounds zone, and that's still only a single yard. This is feast or famine so far for the rushing game on the Baltimore Ravens.
I understand the Ravens' idea of going out wide to make sure they trust the defense, but they have to make a decision to cut in at some point a little bit early, unless you will be just running to go out of bounds. You don't get much yard gains for that.
You really don't. Really don't. The question here is now, like, do we just play for first downs? Because even moderate passing plays really have not gotten a whole lot. And this is 2nd and 2. The writing would be on the wall, and it's Keaton Mitchell or Jackson earlier here. Perhaps just trying to save Jackson's running potential for the second half of this game. Can't say that's a bad idea. Again, we have not seen Gus Edwards take a snap thus far. Rolling back to the right, big pass, and that's Jordan Poyer coming up for the Buffalo Bills defense, now shirking his way to the sidelines, gets past one big man flying in front of him. That's the stuff that most defensive players' nightmares are made out of, but it's inside, easy tackle, and a fantastic turnover. We gotta watch that one again, Novanta.
Let's take this around. So we thought it's going to be the first one to open the floodgates to be Baltimore, but Buffalo and the defense tends to be absolute, tends to be resolute, and it's going the other way. And guess what? A return from the end zone. How about that? More of that, please.
Yes, sir. Especially if you're Jordan, who gets this one out to the 40-yard line from the end zone, from like the -3 or something like that, from the -2, something like that, folks. It is always appealing to try and go forth, get the guaranteed touchback. Not going to happen if your name is Jordu. Setting this one up just outside of the halfway point of the field right here. A lot of slant plays, at least forecasted here for 1, 2, 3 receivers. Everybody is out right here, and Allen still going to be able to get the pass off. Knox right there. That's number 10, actually, kind of beaten feet farther down, going to block a player that did not exist.
Well, that was almost a 40-yard return, and what we're seeing here is that Baltimore has a nice attempt, a nice playbook, but everything is being read by Jordu and Buffalo, and so now we're seeing the opposite way. Those passing plays need to be a lot more open when the ball's in Buffalo's hands.
Yeah, and what they're going to be doing here is going to set the pace for their offense so far. The statement's been made on defense. Now it's points on the board that Jordu is going to have those sights set on 2. Audibles and audibles. Much more convoluted formation to the left side right here. Dawson Knox hanging out a little bit off the line, up on it as Diggs, of course. Abe Davis showing the post route as of right now, and that should be the ideal situation if you can get this cornerback rubbed off, almost out to it. That's a fumble, and that's now going the other way. Defensive powerhouses showing their heads early in this matchup.
Yeah, it was easy to see that Allen was going to be under pressure, but try to go as wide as they can, but just outstretched, came down, hit the ground, the ball was knocked loose.
Fantastic stuff. Another shift of momentum here as Keaton gets the ball back in the defense for Baltimore now, or excuse me, for the Bills now, showing up, putting him down where he stands.
You could tell a little bit of this not going either way for either side, but everyone's still pretty much locked in on the mental level because no one's given about an inch going either way.
An inch, a mile, none of that right now is being given up either way. Get totals for you guys offensively here, but it is not going to be very much on either side of this ball. Centered up across the middle. Keaton Mitchell fighting guard duties for a couple of seconds. A shot out. Rashad Bateman tries to get up to this one. It's battered away. 3rd and 13 for the Baltimore Ravens.
This was a soccer game. The commentator would say, "Peligro! You don't want to have a shot like that in traffic." That was the way this game was going. It was going to be hit the other way as well. You got to be able to have short, secure passes or long, secure passes, but never in traffic like that.
There has not been such a thing as a secure pass past the line of scrimmage thus far. Safest one so far was really just that slant play. Mark Andrews, though, the bailout man himself, big man tight end number 89, coming in for the Baltimore Ravens. Had to wonder when Andrews was going to get involved.
Not enough pressure there for Jackson. Look, pretty much had a whole step and a half to make a decision, but that decision they made was the right one. First down.
Yeah, a step and a half for Lamar Jackson might as well be infinity. Might as well be way more than a Lamar Jackson player who can make these passes on the run, cross body, or just turn it upfield himself. Back to the gun here for number 8 in Jaden LBU in the offense.
It's interesting to see because the scoreline is still 0-0, but it almost feels like a pendulum going back and forth with the stronger team and what each team wants to accomplish. And this is the kind of like Ryu versus Ken match you really want to see in Madden, right? You really can't call it here with almost less than 4 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Yeah, yeah, color me surprised that there's been multiple first quarter scores in all of these 2 games on broadcast so far, and that is a theme that continued pretty much entirety of our previous weeks. Now we're looking at 3.5 minutes. This is middle of the field. This is not scoring position by any means, barring some big bomb to a player like Odell Beckham, and that's not going to happen when Milano comes inside to put your cookie on the ground.
Nothing more deflating for a quarterback of trusting your O-line a bit too much. A sidestep left or right with a Baltimore time. Didn't get it that time.
Yeah, I mean, just forcing your quarterback to get into that left or right position is a bad situation if your offensive line is putting him into right now. Touchback here, starting on the 20-yard line, will be Jordu-led Buffalo Bills.
Well, again, still no score in this one, but we're seeing a little bit of, I won't say desperation, but a little bit more of a creative, more flamboyant attack and defense on both these teams, trying to see who's going to be one to outwit each other. The question I have is, you don't want to go too far and be overzealous to cause a goal concession.
Yeah, you want to be aggressive here, and you want to attempt plays that can get you first downs within the single play right here. But every time that's happened, oh, a fantastic shimmy shake right there as Gabe Davis gets up here. 2 for 2. The only other pass for Josh Allen here was the bomb, of course, a bomb that ended up resulting in nothing. Take a look at this play again, Avanta.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where you know it has to be done, and sometimes it doesn't go the way you want to. But even though you get the completed pass, you can tell there was definitely 20 more yards right in front of them before they were knocked down.
Well, that play was replaying here. We got James Cook to come up, get the first. Now we got a 2-minute warning on the 32. Fresh set of downs, 3 timeouts. If you're Jordu, what do you do, Novanta?
Well, I would run it to the right personally, but this is the reason why I'm up in the booth and not playing the game.
Fair. Pocket opens up across the middle. Dawson Knox gets out there. That is a completed pass, so the chain's starting to move in the passing game a little bit. You're right. It looked like he had it against his thigh, especially given some of these other passes here. Looks like they've been dropped. Heck, there was even the one that was intercepted. Looked like it was a reception made. James Cook, yin. Shimmy shake, run right up the middle. First down plus more.
Hey, James is gonna do what he does best. But that last play was in traffic times four. It was like four white shirts. You threw it to them anyway. Props to that. But you're absolutely right. You again coming down to taking risk and doing things that no one's expecting. We don't want to go too far. I think both teams are playing that dance right now.
Element of surprise, man. That element of surprise. This is thrown off of, yeah, on the run, across the body, nowhere near accurate enough. Might as well just been a throwaway play to stop this clock right here and not use one of their timeouts. Audibles upon audibles. Post route here for 91, but that is James Cook again under pressure, and the throw is not on point. Stop clock though for the Buffalo Bills offense.
Yeah, it was unfortunate because I tried to double back just quite in time, but I guess the route was abandoned a bit too late. The ball goes sailing into no one in particular.
They're like right behind right there is a solid attempt to try and get back to it. Nothing doing as 3rd and 10 shows up here for Jordu. Stacking this side onto the right with the tight end there, number 88, Dawson Knox. James Cook back. He's going to be trying to accept a pass right here, but it's a bigger passing play as Diggs gets this. Diggs gets to the end zone, and that's 6 on the board for the Buffalo Bills.
Touchdown. It wasn't the prettiest, but it definitely was effective. All points break the same, drawing first blood as the Buffalo Bills.
That's how we like to describe our commentary, guys. It's not pretty, but it's effective, and it gets the people going. Take a look at this one again.
I mean, I think I'm pretty attractive, but that's besides the point. But yes, what a pass in the corner there. Jukes won, and it was going to be a tight race to the corner. Hits it, lands it, gets both feet in.
And Justice Hill looks like they were considering this one. Turns 9 degrees, just a left face right there to keep these special teams gassed running down the field at him. But taking it from the 25, here is the Baltimore Ravens. Jaden LBU has their work cut out for them in 28 seconds remaining in this half.
And how Tugboat, the whole battle of who's going to score first is now lost. Jaden Blue now has to retaliate and do so in the way that says not only I'm in this game by number, but definitely by effort as well.
Oh, double coverage. Bateman almost comes down with it. Double coverage, triple coverage. I can't even count the number of blue jerseys around that ball, Navanta.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's almost like a swarm of bees on both sides. That's two teams that know what they're trying to do and what the other opponent is doing as well. So it's going to be even harder to get those passes off. And so when they do get off, you're like, wow.
Keaton Mitchell, star of the offense so far, continues to claim that title here for the Baltimore Ravens, as that's a run for 6 right up the middle to not only give a different look, but also get them much closer, but no timeouts. This is a Hail Mary situation at best.
Yeah, interesting take.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say, if you're going to do one play, you might as well run it, right? But or at least need the knee. But hey, halftime is done. 7-0 Buffalo.
I'm a bit confused by this. You have 28 seconds, full conglomerate of timeouts right here. At least get this one up. Try and kick 3, because then you're coming back right now. Gonna be kicking the ball off as well. So scoring opportunities you had, null and void in the first half, and not going to be for the first minute or so, barring a turnover here for the second.
That's absolutely right there, Tugboat, but I really feel when you play these games, we always think we can get it on the long ball kind of way. The small ball, the mechanical ball, I get that, but I do think a lot of teams go, it's only one touchdown. I got this. Next time I get the ball, it's going to be a wrap. So it really wasn't kind of a nudge to do that field goal there.
And I guess my mind is at a single score at most is 8 points. No reason to go for 2 in this situation by any means until you're looking, last couple of seconds. That's only like going for a glory type situation. You take a field goal here, you come back in the second half, and you get a touchdown here after you force no points for this offense right now. That's going to be made so much harder there for Shakir. 5-7 for Josh Allen.
Yeah, that was a very clean pass up the middle. And you don't really see plays as much as that happening, especially from Buffalo. But hey, that's going to work and be effective. I say add that to the arsenal now.
Adding to the arsenal will be James Cook and another solid catch and run up the field. 132 yards, 9 yards on the last, or 132 total for Josh Allen, 9 of them on the last right here. 5 receivers out. James Cook filling in with that role as well. Right out to Dawson Knox across the middle. The tight end getting involved yet again.
Yeah, usually I would criticize throwing with coverage right like that, but you know what? Everyone was kind of going to run the opposite direction. That was the best option, and thankfully there were sticky gloves out there.
3 and 79 for Knox. Add a couple onto that one. 81 for Knox. Knocking on the door of triple digits here with plenty of time left in this third and fourth quarter. Now, lining up back to the gun. James Cook sent out yet again, having the faith in the offensive line, and that's Stephon
Ooh.
Diggs coming up big for the Buffalo Bills again.
Yeah, there was so many options in front of them, but the one on the run was definitely the most effective one. He had it a full stretch, would have brought him down. Didn't even do that, and now it's 2 touchdowns up for Buffalo.
Two scoring lead here for Buffalo. Both of them required to be a touchdown for the Baltimore Ravens led Jaden LBU squad. Now kickoff here, all the way back, riding on the wall. Justice Hill decides not to go for it. This one goes all the way back. Starting a drive right here, and Baltimore has simply got to get the receivers involved a little bit more. Speaking of getting involved, Lamar Jackson has not attempted a single rush yet.
Yeah, hasn't had a single rush. I do think that's a skill that thought we were going to see by now. But again, it's only 2 touchdowns, and it's way a lot of time for them to really come up and get something on the board. They don't have to rush anything. They don't have to go for 60-yard passes right now. To do that, what they were doing best to keep themselves back in the game.
Nice little pocket created right there as Keaton Mitchell continues to rush this ball right up the middle. 4.4 yards per average is 2nd and 5 shown up for the Ravens.
Well, that was a good one. A little bit of a 4-yard run or a 5-yard run. And again, going back to what works with you, don't lose concentration. The pressure still needs to be on. And all you got to do now is just score, baby.
Just score, baby. Just score. It's going to be a lot easier with Zay Flowers' first reception across the middle. This is 3rd and 2, but I could have sworn that was a lot closer, man.
Yeah, it was a lot closer, but I do think this series has been pretty conservative with the chains. So I can't. It was consistent. It's unfair but consistent.
There you go. Unfair but consistent. We can only ask for that. Moses was not an eligible receiver, even as this ball hits him in the back. Popped out here against Lamar Jackson. And it's decision time here for Jaden LBU.
Well, you're 4th and 2. I would say punt it, but again, you have a team like Jordan and Buffalo, how they're willing to score and try things to keep scoring. It may not be something worth doing.
Here comes the attempt. Here comes the attempt. We might see a quick exit after this one. Barring this, that's a fat sack as Von Miller going to be getting this one. Half sack and a tackle here for the defensive powerhouse named Von Miller.
Well, I'm not a gambling man, but sometimes they come up snake eyes, right? You try to say, I'm going to go for it, and you get sacked back, and that's kind of the worst possible result given the situation.
100% agreed. 100% agreed. Gabe Davis on a running ball over the right side. Single rush, single yard here. Especially given that you can kick the ball pretty much easily right here from the 25-yard line. We are flirting with a time management situation here from Jordu, and I think they just exchanged numbers.
Yeah, we all like to have the idea of the comeback kid, but it really does say much about a psychological advantage of being the team to score first. And that is the most preventable sack I've seen all series. A time immemorial.
Wow.
Had a chance to get that ball off. It didn't happen.
Seriously, again, I said it earlier, I'll say it again. Not enough time to write their memoirs in the back as Jadeveon Clowney, the University of South Carolina product, comes up to eat Josh Allen alive. Speaking of, that's Gabe Davis right here, getting a lot done across the middle part of this field.
Yeah, that guy was a Texan. Just putting it out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Where do you go to college, though?
Don't do this to me.
There you go. Josh Allen. Nice juke over the left side. And Jordy was not going to be satisfied with 3 points on the board here. 21-point game coming up in a second, barring an uncharacteristic miss from Tyler Bass.
Well, there you go. 21-0. I was saying earlier about the name of the game of scoring first. It totally does matter. So why not? And he went to South Carolina. I should have knew that. Oh, come on. Dang it, Google. Brain failed.
Yeah. I went to the University of South Carolina, guys. I know plenty of these guys as college, but I got to see the man work live and in person. If you Google the hit Michigan, University of South Carolina, it'll still come up with the decapitation of that Michigan running back whose name is escaping me right now.
What I'm saying is I just fell into a trap. I could just guess USC, and it would have been right.
That's fair. Duvernay, okay. Duvernay getting involved right here. Spreading the ball around is Jaden LBU. Barring turnovers, I think Jaden's been doing great on offense.
I mean, look, you can't say it was a full shift of work there because it was almost doing more than what needed to be done, overperforming. I just kind of wish a little bit more, I want a little bit more.
A tad bit more. And again, you cannot, yeah, you can't have the conversation without talking about turnovers and the sacks that have been allowed so far. The Buffalo Bills offense, I mean, we saw it on that one play, right? Guy had all day get this ball out right here. Opted for a short one, got nixed down earlier. Now Jackson pops back. Three players, screenplay to Keaton Mitchell, but he's still in the backfield right now. Oh, no,
Wow.
excuse me. That was third and 17. That is going to be for positive yardage, but third and long right here coming up.
Yeah, I was gonna write down my notes. Having four people on the blitz, what is a pretty much a bad idea. But you're down 2 and 17. You could take your sweet time to be a defensive person brings it down.
It's a good point. Mitchell taking the rock across, 8-yard reception for him. This was decision time earlier. It's not decision time anymore because this is an easy one. Three receivers spread out to the left side. That's going to be a nice, quick fake play over there to Bateman. RPO utilized perfectly.
Yeah, it's a fake play. We kind of saw it coming there. 4th and 2, no time to punt the ball now. It's really time to do something of action and something quick.
Up and over, another
Oh.
pick. Micah Hyde has been getting it done so far and does it again in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it's interesting how Buffalo is just so good of having bodies where it needs to be, almost like seeing the play, almost like Minority Report style, and that's another pick.
Minority Report. That movie always creeped me out as a kid, honestly,
As a kid,
a lot. As a child.
I mean, as an adult, it freaks me out too.
Oh, okay. I was like, how else can I describe this? No, 100%. I mean, dystopian futures always kind of get me like a little bit, like kind of wondering, negatively
Yeah,
about the world.
yeah, absolutely. Dystopian presents are pretty bad too, but uh, as it stands, it's still 21 zip. Baltimore needs to do something fast, but I don't think it's their day. I'm not sure if we're in the FF zone there, Tugboat.
Oh, I died of mute after that one. That was a funny guy, Novansa. Don't let everybody ever tell you differently. Josh Allen, 7 back. You're 100% right. Even with 3 timeouts on the board and a 2-minute warning coming in into a second, this is running on the board. Maybe not an FF type situation, but if Buffalo gets another first down, that's donezo.
Well, here's the thing. It's like there's everything that's good. I mean, there's nothing that Baltimore has done wrong necessarily. It's that it's succumbing to pressure. And so when you have that coming and you can't even get the plays you want off because you think you're going to give it up and you do anyway, I think it's kind of a mental break, if anything.
Oh man, Stephon Diggs, another half step forward, and this had been probably the longest bomb of this day so far, of this broadcast day. Definitely not, just given that, I mean, especially the second game between Jordu and play earlier, that was Ferraro, excuse me. Just was not very offensive minded game. In the second one, of course, there was all defense for Jordu game one of that matchup. Jordu on the precipice of taking his first game of this second matchup, though. That's gonna be another
Well,
first down. Yeah, this game's over.
interesting. It was kind of funny because the cutscene had Josh Allen running off field, but apparently 4th and 6 went for it. Another first down.
Madden's trying to tell him what to do, what the analytics say is the best play. If I never heard the word analytics on NFL broadcasts again, I'd be able to die happy.
Oh man, you know how many jobs were tied to that stuff though?
Oh, 100%, but it's just like that's I don't know. I think it's used very frequently to bail out unpopular decisions as
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh, well, the analytics say XYZ, instead of saying, hey, maybe these NFL coaches know a little bit better than our armchair quarterbacks sitting on their, sitting at the house on Sundays. That's all I'm saying.
I'm with you, but I think if all AI or all analytics is basically like an AI version of Ask Madden, I'll be okay with it.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's what I
yeah,
want. I want a Chat GPT future that is just a representation of John Madden answering my questions, football related or not.
right. Give her chocolate and flowers on Valentine's Day. Thanks, John.
Well, Tugboat, we're gonna have to analyze this year's Valentine's. Yeah, like that. That's exactly how it would come. Game one done and dusted. Jaden forces the shutout, Jaden forces the shutout here of their opponent.
Yep, looks that way. We see more of the same. Buffalo makes short work of LBU and the Ravens. And the question becomes, we saw this last week's about the changing of a team in between the series. Will we see that here? I doubt it. It'd be kind of fun that were to happen.
Teasing our messages from production here, Navanta. That's next level. We are getting confirmed that Jaden is switching on over to the Chiefs next game. We almost had it. We almost had a full series, no Chiefs. Well, Patrick Mahomes in the squad here. The Andy Reid led back-to-back world champions. They're fourth on Sunday, on this past Sunday, of course, coming in here to play against this squad.
Wow. Well, there you go. I can't believe that. We're going to have a team change in this series. I wonder how that works. Hey, Baltimore, you're great, but here's the bus. Head on home. We're going to Kansas City.
Yeah, you go back to the East Coast. We're taking this middle of the country Midwest squad and the Kansas City Chiefs. Devonta Flobo, we've been talking about this so much about how the Bills are like, to say their defense is just pick a litter or whatnot almost makes it sound like we're saying that their offense is no good. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying at all.
Sure.
Jordan kind of gave us a little bit of insight into just how good this Buffalo Bills defense can be. Essentially, the Kansas City pick is telling us the opposite of that, is that the Kansas City offense is just so freaking good that it's never a bad play to take right here. Kansas City defense, obviously a little bit of a different story. So I think we're going to see a defensive powerhouse coming up against an offensive powerhouse, and how the other side of these two teams take the field will determine this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the key to defense for the Buffalo Bills is that they're so okay with going right down the middle. And what happens after plays and after time, it kind of forces the opponent to try to outsmart the Bills of going left or right. But when you do that, there's always a person in deep zone to cut off any kind of screen or any kind of mid-range passes. It is basically a very pronounced but beatable defensive structure. But if an opponent has not figured that out, if I'm Jordan, I'm tripling down on that.
Yeah, dude. Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, a man named Von Miller. These are defense. Just having those three together almost seems like it should be. There should be an NFL rule coming down from commissioners. Like, nope, sorry, defense too goated. Must send those players back to some kind of pool that other teams can bid on. That's not what we see here. This is the Buffalo Bills defense that's going to come on. They're going to make plays. They're going to die trying.
Oh, absolutely. We're only a minute away from that game, too. Jordan has said he's going to run the board, and so far it looks like it's going to happen. Again, much like the last series he played with the Chiefs, it was a situation where you felt like there was going to be anyone's game, and then he figures out his opponent and just goes off to the races.
Yeah, and if we're talking about figuring out opponents and whatnot, yes, that was a 35-14 point game, game one of Georgiou and Ferraro. Yes, that is the same score differential in the most recent 21-0 point game. But if I'm making that decision, I'm taking 21-0 over 35-14 every single day, because that goose egg, that zero on the other side, that's a mental factor. That's basically like telling the other squad right here is like, hey guys, this is what I can do to shut you down completely across 4 quarters of play.
Yeah, there's so many options, especially you have a lot more opportunities to score in the structure of that. You can go a lot more fourth downs. You could try a lot more plays that most teams wouldn't even attempt. And the fact you do all that or have that at your ready and you still don't score, it's enough to make you go, oh my gosh, maybe I'm outclassed here. So I'm with you. I think it's almost, if not an actual victory, a moral victory to put some points on the board, even in defeat.
100%. 100%. Especially if this is Jaden that's able to come forth here and score first with a different offense here, Kansas City from the Baltimore Ravens, then we'll be looking at an entirely different series. If this is Jaden that comes through here and just performs the same, just shut down defense, you can pick whoever you want. You can pick any 2 teams. Doesn't matter. We're going to shut you down. Then the writing will be on the wall right here, and it'll really be Jaden's game to go forth and snatch from the jaws of defeat.
Oh yeah, absolutely. A game 3 in a best of 3 is enough of a victory as it is, just because of how much the hot streak Jordan has been doing with the Bills, and so that would be kind of cool. But look, with all about the high ground when it comes to technical things, it's all Jordan. They don't have to do too much. They don't have to do anything out of the ordinary. Their defensive plan has not been thwarted yet. Their offensive carries have been very good, even favorable if you're talking about their home efforts as well. They're on cruise control.
Yeah, well, you want another common NFL commentator term? Well, this
Tell
is
me.
a squad that's gone forth and put the thumb screws on. They have played up to the other level. The bend but not break defense. There's a huge one. The bend but not break defense, right? That is exactly how you can describe this Buffalo Bills defense. They gave up triple digits in yardage and total yardage between rushing and passing plays. No, they did not allow even one single point onto this board. Harrison Butker up the left side this time. Not even gonna be able to get there hardly, as Hines and no go from the 25-yard line will go.
Can we talk about the team change there from Jaden LBU? Not to be all doom and gloom, but you have the Baltimore Ravens team. The first half, maybe first quarter and a half, it looked like a pretty even affair. The Chiefs, while good, while they are the defending champions, two-time champions, is a team we've seen be dismantled plenty of times in this tournament alone. This may be a decision that may shoot themselves in the foot. And I mean that figuratively, of course.
Yeah. I mean, hey, we've even seen the Kansas City Chiefs beat the Kansas City Chiefs in these broadcasts so far.
Fair.
5 seconds left on this, and these players are going to be opting to pick different playbooks across these different teams. Honestly, not against it at all. This is a situation for Jaden. I don't see a reason why you'd switch off of the offensive playbook, off of Andy Reid's created offensive playbook for the Kansas City Chiefs. But there's a couple of different teams defensively wise that I might be opting for if you're Kansas City.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I think the defense of Kansas City, which is not saying it's weak, is definitely porous in times and places. So by all means, you have the opportunity to do so, then do that. But again, I don't think the changing of the team, that buff, is what they're looking for. I really think it was the Baltimore Ravens had a good chance. All they need was a bit more focus on offense.
We're going to see the same delay of game by the same team right here, just offense instead of defense, like we did last time. Jordu, again, with the mental factor, with the, hey, I'm still going to start this game from behind. Still, you're going to see what I can do on offense.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see what they do that. But again, first play delay of games. Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, that's twice in a, well, I guess it was an encroachment first, lay a game on the second here. Here, number 10, has been showing up as the bailout slot so far for this Josh Allen led Buffalo Bills offense. It's a bomb to Knox, and that is, if that's not a touchdown, it's a really damn close. Knox again!
Oh my
Nice juke right
goodness.
here, all the way inside for 6 on the very first play of this game number 2. Kansas City defense not looking good for the switch.
Technical and beautiful. Hopefully, we get to see that on replay. Check this out. We're gonna go for the extra point. Well, there was the catch, and definitely was a conservation of that boost that was very, very important to draw not one but two defenders going the opposite direction. You don't get too many opportunities like that to stop someone, and Kansas City didn't have a chance.
Yeah, man. Yeah, 80 yards is about what Dawson Knox finished game number 1 at. One offensive play into this, and that's where we're at. Mecole Hardman, that's some decent blocking over to the right side. Almost gets out to the 20, and a solid attempt regardless, especially after you're staring down the barrel of 7 on the scoreboard early.
Yeah, finally a run back. How about that? Give me some of that smash mouth football,
Love it.
y'all.
Love it. Decisions made. Behind the line of scrimmage here for the Kansas City offense. Brings us Pacheco into the fold here, and that's a little bit more than just into the fold. That's a 12-yard rush and run right up the middle, rumbling even across a couple of defensive players.
Can't even call that a side step. It was more like a trot. But hey, you know what? Get their yards, get the yards, and you get the first down. That's what it's done. Paid for it though at the end.
Yeah, solid hit. Solid hit. It's one of those hits we just thankful happens in Madden, not in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Scrum across the middle. Pacheco hit by a couple of different guys right there. Buffalo Bills at home right now as well. Worth mentioning here. Pacheco. It's another 5 yards or so up the left side this time.
Checo's always been so good at finding holes and seams with different opponents, and this here is no different. Let's see if it's going to be part of a more robust offensive attack, or it's going to be one situation where he gets the ball all the time.
Rasheed Rice now getting involved. You've seen Kansas City. It's Ferraro, and I don't believe Rasheed Rice is a huge part of that game plan. Now, folks, we're early on in this game. If you're watching, go ahead and fill up that Twitch chat with your predictions and whatnot. Of course, this was Jordu 21-0 in game number 1. So will we see Jaden LBU battling back here, push this series to a game number 3? Pacheco gets read like a book right up the middle, loss of a yard. And now, if you're a Jordu, this should be writing on the wall. This should be punt plays. You do not want to give up this kind of field position to a Kansas City Chiefs squad led by Jaden.
You know what they're talking about? I don't see your prediction anywhere.
It's fair. It's fair. I'm going to say not a 21-0. I'm going to say this is going to be a much closer game. Georgia's going to win by 3. I'm saying 24-21. And that's going to, can I change that? Now that Miko Hardman takes a bomb down the middle of the field, Patrick Mahomes 2 for 2 on 49.
Pat Mahomes showing why Pat Mahomes is elite there with a bomb. And it was not only that the shot, it was definitely the catch and being able to evade as well.
Pacheco looking great. That's another first down right up the middle. Gotta say, Pacheco has been figuring out these pockets right up the middle very, very well.
Yeah, absolutely. As much as we talk about the defense of the Bills, they haven't really found an answer for this until then. Wow, what a stop!
I
Haven't
mean,
found an answer for the Chiefs.
yeah, you get 2 more of these, even with the blitz play being called from the defense. This is going to be Jaden very happy with 6. Stage has been set. You should know at least what's going to be faked in what is coming. Another handoff to Pacheco. This was nothing if not predictable. Big man pushes him inside, and we got a tie game barring a Butker miss.
Well, that's pretty cool to see there. We're talking about the not scoring early. Well, that is totally off the table now. Let's see what resolve Jaden has in game 2.
Some solid pressure on the right side there. Not going to be able to get up and block this kick, though, and it's going to be return here. Butker up, Butker down. Hines knees down. 25-yard line is where this offensive drive will start. Navanta disappointed with no kickoff
Always.
return attempt.
Yeah, back in the days of yore, all those returns were returned, It's definitely a smart play. Sometimes I hate smart plays. Guess we move on.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And yeah, from an we want the lightning and the thunder. We want the flashy plays here, folks. We want to provide the entertainment for you. We want to scream about Madden even.
Hell yeah.
It's just kind of the antithesis of what the kickoff return is as of right now.
Oh my goodness me. Got trucked there. Wow. I don't think he saw it coming.
Wow, yeah, so first pass, fantastic, good as it gets. Second pass barely gets out of the hands and yields in a no loss of yardage situation for the Buffalo Bills and your due. Different look coming up here, but perhaps having James Cook back come forth, try to provide some blocking duties, not have that 5th receiver might be the play of the game. Coverage handed off. This could be a bomb to circle right across the middle of the field, and it is. McDuffie can't get back there. Shakir has a lot of green past the 25 right now. Attempted the shake. It's only about to the 23 and does. Nicely done. That's big bombs only for Josh Allen so far.
I don't know. I was going to say they had a good 15-yard space to do some scrambling, but I guess the bomb worked out for them. Had it not, I was sitting here complaining from the booth.
Oh my goodness, hard cut indeed here for James Cook as he weaves his way to the end to create a beautiful tapestry in the form of 6 points.
Yeah, we got to watch that one again at some point because that right there is a masterclass of how do you evade defenders. But here's a point of a touchdown. Has to go in right there, Tugboat. But right there, the whole drive was amazing.
It's so easy to get tunnel vision on the end zone. Yeah, even if there is that wall of red standing in front of you, he basically paints a circle, a straight line from him to the left side post, takes it, barely deviates from that path along the way. That's exactly what the doctor ordered. 14-7 game here in the first quarter still, excuse me.
Oh, we got ourselves a return, another one. Oh, okay, I'll take it. I like it. Brave. It warms my heart.
I love it. I love it. Kansas City. Going to be starting this one on the 15. Still is. The difference is it's an offensive play attempt, right? Yes, it's special teams, but still a play attempt to get extra yardage. Playing from behind, never against it, especially given that Patrick Mahomes can find 10 extra yards in his pocket as he's checking on the way down to a touchdown.
Absolutely. Mahomes is, I guess I'm saying something that's pretty much common knowledge, but Mahomes is such a strong quarterback, you really can't pin him into a certain system. He can find a way to scramble, he can find a way to make a passing play or what have you. So that's kind of the advantage of picking the Chiefs. And right now, that's why I think one of the reasons why they're still in this one, 7, even though they're down by 7, they're still very much in this.
Oh, 100%. 100%. One score a game, first quarter still. Anybody up here. Now, if you're just joining us, of course, Georgia has won the first game of this best of 3. That was a 21-0 stomp, complete sweep. Game number 1, a game that was concluded all the way 2 triple zeros of the fourth quarter right there. No FFs coming right there. So we can be appreciative of that. 1 second left, and that is not ideal situations for the Patrick Mahomes-led Kansas City Chiefs.
I get running it down. Maybe they got too slow on the snap finger there, but hey, delay a game was only 5. Could be a lot worse as they hit towards the other side of the goal
Yeah.
line.
I think this is a little bit of what Jordu was talking about as far as the home field advantages and whatnot. Home field advantage can see like your preferred receiver as well, so you want to switch up a lot of audibles before this ball is snapped. Try and throw off your opponent here into the first quarter. Second quarter starting in a second.
Oh, they got out of there just a little bit because I thought that was going to be a safety situation, but going home is just too strong. Only one score separates these two teams. Again, we're seeing a lot more from Jaden Blue to keep themselves hanging out there, but those defensive miscues are something I want to take note of. I mean, granted, the score doesn't reflect that, but that could bite them as this rolls on.
That's a very good point. Jordy would have loved to have that stop right here and be looking at third and forever. Even against a player like Patrick Mahomes, pressure up the middle, barely gets the ball out, 4th and 11. And it's a terrible situation to find yourselves in when you're going to be thanking your lucky stars just to get the ball out and avoid a sack.
Usually they have a second person behind them assisting with the rush, and that could have been picked up in the air. So count your lucky stars that was an interception or fumble, excuse me.
Keem Hines gets past one, tries to push it to the outside. A diving play, still stays on his feet with the assistance of a teammate and gets it out to about the 46 right there. How about that for a kickoff return, Novanta?
That is a very aggressive run. I think I would have given up after a couple of these jukes. I would be too concerned about giving the ball up via fumble or being stripped. But as you know about trusting your team, right?
Another fake run to the right side. Gabe Davis gets it past one and up for the first down. The Jordu-led Buffalo Bills are firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, let's take another look at that run there because you got to understand that it takes a lot to come out there and try to be so good with the juke button, but that was precise. After one run, there's another one. Almost broke 2 tackles with his quick fingers.
Yeah, Gabe Davis now getting involved in the running positions. Love to see that. Switching this one up because God knows all these players can really get it done in that running formation. Gabe Davis out, gets past one. The shoestring tackle there on the end as Josh Allen improves to what? 7 for 8, 193 yards, 2 touchdowns thrown.
Gotta fall for the same play twice and make it 3 times while you're at it.
That player was in position for it. Gabe Davis. No, they're just going to run the same play from the second down of the previous drive. That's going to be enough for a solid little advantage.
That right there is frustrating and being on the blunt end of that one when you know your opponent's doing the same 2 or 3 plays and you just haven't figured an answer out for them. Of course, they keep going, keep spamming that button, so you're kind of like, oh man, lighten up.
Other screen, this one to Gabe Davis. I mean, 2 yards on this one, 3rd and 3 coming in, so a fantastic position for Jordu to be in.
It is. We've seen stranger things. It should be an easy walk-in for them. It's 2-minute warning here being called, and I would say so, given their pedigree today. But I don't know. Nothing's safe here in this current tournament.
I 100% agree right here. This is, yes, this is Jaden doing arguably better since the previous, but blown coverage, ball thrown out to the right side, plus a little bit of user interaction there. Get this one in, and we got a 14-point game. 2 minutes basically left. 3 timeouts left for Jaden here in this first half. What do you do?
Man was shuffling in the end zone like trying to get out the pews in church. I mean, no one had no room, but still found a way to get across the line. And we're seeing that 21 happen again this time around. That looks like Jordu knows what's up.
Yeah. I mean, figured it out in game 1 and continuing to ploy his absolute dominance here in game number 2. Putting this one about as far back as it'll go. Right side. Mecole Hardman decides better of it. Hits him in the foot, but unfortunately does not bounce back in. Jaden, all eyes on you, my friend.
If I saw that in a real game, like, what's up with that guy? It's just like, I'm gonna catch it. No, I'm gonna catch it. I'm gonna drop it. I'm gonna catch it. I'm dropping it. I'm gonna catch it.
It's just getting a little more cardio in. Everyone else is getting the heart rate, up, that respiration up. Just wants to join in his friends. Wortson coming on in here. I believe that's the backup tight end. Yes, it is here. Kelsey now back into this game. Single tight end right side, loading the left. Otherwise, Pacheco. It's been working so far. Why do anything differently? 8 rushes, 35 yards. Throw a touch in there for flavor.
Yeah, it was a good first down combination. That first play was like catch, then run. But hey, Pacheco cleaned it up, and now we got to move the chains, and what a
Ooh.
completed pass.
MVS, Marquez Valdez Scantling coming on in here, getting a big one across the middle. Kansas City improving to 125 total yards, probably 80, 90 of those or so. Of course, being those passing plays. Timeout comes, so Jordan Jaden has an extra little bit of time to figure this one out as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what you have to do, right? You're still in it. You're not shut out this time, but the game is slipping away inch by inch, drive by drive to Buffalo. So you got to be able to save on the proverbial accelerator. Be a lot more aggressive and get more points on the board.
Yep. And I mean, when we talk about points on the board, I mean just that as well, Novanta. I mean, I'm going to suggest the Forsaken, right? The unmentionable, and that's kicking a
Oh,
field goal, taking 3 points when it's necessary, and
whoa,
making this one
whoa!
a little bit of. Hey, I know, controversial take, folks. You see it in the NFL frequently for a reason. Checo down for a loss.
3 points. What's this? The NBA? Listen, all no glitz, no glory, man. All touchdowns, baby.
Gas no brakes, like Devonta was saying earlier, it seems. Opened up, Rashee Rice getting drilled down hard on the end, but enough for a first down plus a lot more. This is much better scoring territory for the Jaden-led Kansas City Chiefs. Push out, big bomb. Oh, just lofting this to Kansas City. Just giving everybody over there a front row seat to another 6 points.
This is what I'm talking about, right? Blink of an eye, you're back in this one, and it's a whole half of ball to play.
Butker, as all kickers do, remain perfect in the point after attempt on the day. We have seen 1 point after miss, and that was in a game that did not matter. That was last week, of course. Player ended up winning by 8 in that one. Memory serves. No bringing this one back. This is a dangerous situation. Jordu, Josh Allen, Buffalo Bills, all of these receivers, 36 seconds and a full litany of timeouts, Navanta.
Yeah, timeouts are something you don't get to see used as much or as effectively as we would like, but they're definitely are in the quiver as well. The Arsenal toolkit would have you. You have a 7-point lead if you're Georgia, but you got to make sure you put up that score number as best as you
Yep.
can.
Yeah, you open up the middle of the field like that. Josh Allen it's a nice playful shove from behind. I both love and hate how easily quarterbacks are treated in the league, even within Madden these days.
Yeah, well, remember the days of blitz, man? I mean,
I
quarterbacks were
do.
just
I
like
do.
mauled.
Yeah, you better be able to take a shellacking tackle as a quarterback, especially if you're a running quarterback in that old league. Not going to happen. 7 for 9 is the second missed pass here for Josh Allen.
I think getting the run was enough there, but if it would have worked out, it'd been icing on the cake. But sometimes the cake enough is fine.
Yeah, I do like cake. Here's an opportunity to eat it too. Diggs gets it into the outside. Perfect accuracy on the bullet pass. And this is going to be Jordu in great scoring position, 2 yards outside of the red zone.
Had to cover a lot of ground, but the afterburners were on. Look at that high arc pass coming down when needed.
Perfectly done. Perfectly done right there. Big bomb. 200 plus total yards here for the Buffalo Bills offense. Just really transfixing this field. Shakir gets down. First and goal, and another timeout called. One left on the 1 yard line.
You got to call that timeout there. But look how close you were to greatness.
Really was Shakir almost falling inside for 6 right there. But hey, run play right here. Call the timeout. If this doesn't get in, well, not going to have to. Oh, excuse me. Shakir right there as well. But that's going to be 4-second burned off. So this is still a situation where Kansas City, even however they get the ball back, turnover, force no touchdown, even a field goal, dare I say, not going to have enough to really get it done.
Boo.
Yeah. Easy peasy. Cook wide open there for another touchdown for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, that was a pivotal drive. Had the Bills gone that far and not scored the touchdown, I would have said it's pretty much the Chiefs' game to lose. But thankfully for them, they get that extra point or touchdown, and now it's 28-14.
Yeah, 21 seconds of gameplay, Novanta. That's how long ago this was so much more of a manageable game for Jaden. They force a 3 and out, something like that. The end here. Just be looking at so much more of a better look the second half. Bomb play, Hail Mary, why not? Say your prayers.
Does Jaden not like the fair catch button? What's going on over there?
I really don't know.
I'm always he's going for it. Oh, he's not.
The only thing I can think of is as something I mentioned a little bit before, and that is that getting your defensive players gassed by forcing them to continue to run down the field. It's the only thing I can really think of. Not even sure if it really shows its head in within virtual NFL within Madden.
I
Third
guess so.
quarter starting now.
I guess so, because I am as confused of how that ball comes and you think he's going to run it without the ball, and then it's over. But hey, look, kicking off this time, not receiving in the third quarter is going to be Kansas City. That's a fair for change.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. Jordu started off first play, touchdown drive for Jordy to start this game off. Well, it's Jaden now, with an opportunity to do the same.
Well, how about that? It's a whole new game, two halves from glory, if you say the least. Kansas City has a little bit more pressure here to force a game three, but I think Jordy and Buffalo has pressure too to run up the score.
Hear you. This is zone coverage. Gets it out to the flat. Pacheco right there is going to get a lot on the backside. Nicely done. 4 yards up there for not much of a throw and catch.
Yeah, it was kind of cool to anticipate the juke there when needed. I think if had it gone the other way, it would have been a double juke fake out.
We do live for those. It's another pass to basically the same side of the field. It's McKinnon now, number 1, getting in for I believe their first catch. Yes, it is. Jared McKinnon.
Interesting that it's so late in this game. You thought they'd be involved a little bit earlier, but I'm just splitting hairs now.
I mean, not getting in Rashee Rice involved until one single play in this. Now, another player, similar situation. Kelsey, I believe, has been held to 2. One of them was for 1 yard. One of them, of course, was for that touchdown and run, about 8 yards right there. Kelsey, star player, number 1 tight end, number 3 overall with receiving yards the past 3 years, people. Now that's going to be getting the big man involved.
Wow. Getting everyone involved is kind of the secondary name in the game, but hey, props.
Yeah. Pacheco, back here, 2nd and 6. Runs out to create the 5th receiver situation right across the middle, and they're going to be glad that Lewis didn't cut back to this one faster.
Yeah, that was kind of the plays we've seen before. Just at this time, I guess that was got figured out and there was no one around. Not sure if that's going to be a shift or kind of like, that was a mistake. Let's go back and do what we're doing.
Wholesale switches in formation now. Came up with a single player a little bit closer back, now sending all 5 out. Writing was on the wall. We are going to pass the ball. That's going to be fantastic for Rashee Rice. Gets around 1. And number 11 right there again just kind of goes downfield to try and block a defender. Is just not there.
Don't want to jinx it so far, but it's been a long time since Jordy's seen an interception or a fumble. I wonder what's going through their mind. Are they kind of thinking like the well has run dry?
Not if you're Mecole Hardman. Right through. Bullet pass right barely within that window. That's going to be enough for 9, Avanta.
Hey, 9 is good. 10 would have been better, but again, you know me, I'm being surly here. You got to drop back with Pat Mahomes, and that was going to be almost open.
There you go. Travis Kelsey gets this one down a lot closer, purchasing a lot of space right now. 1st and goal. The Jaden squad. Audibles called, heavily loading up the right side right here. Rashee Rice, now Kelsey going out. Flag is out. Ooh, that almost hit 91 in the hands right here. Illegal contact onto the defense, though, so they're going to be marching up halfway up to the goal line.
Ball was knocked loose. Thought it was going to be caught, but I guess the penalty would have made that moot anyway. But the kind of pressure that we've seen in spurts, or a lot of other games have been in spurts here for Jordu.
You know what else spurts? That's blood when you cut an aorta, because that's exactly what it's looking like right now. Bleeding out, and Patrick Mahomes takes it all the way up, bringing this one back to a 1-touchdown game.
Oh, Patrick Mahomes, you can't count him out, making sure they are part of the score line, taking to the house himself.
Everett Holden, Butker up, Butker perfect. This is a absolute game that we have on our hands. 49 total yards, only touchdowns and extra points scored so far, and only offensive ones as well. This is Jordu enjoying, a lot of defensive scores in the first match that they faced. It's a different situation every single way.
This might be the biggest challenge that Jordy has dealt with all day. Jaden LBU, excuse me, has put the pressure on. They've already been on stream. Jordy has been today. You wonder whether or not the mental concentration is still on point.
You have to wonder that, and especially the factor of stream factor, right? The lights and the sounds in your face. Have to assume it's a little bit of it. A lot more used to it as Jordy. Jaden, believe that's going to be that is going to be the first time I've seen Jordy twice here on the broadcast today. Saw them last week as well. That was Neighbor that did go down and punch their ticket. Top two of that qualifier. Number one, Josh Allen, gonna be sitting back in the gun. It seemed this one offensive line doing fantastic stuff, but Allen tries to wind this one up and deliver a cannon to the right side. Well, that's going to get shut down right in the backfield.
Yeah, it was interesting because I saw an alternate universe of that being a massive bomb being connected downfield, but you can't wait forever. Kansas City caught up, and that play was done.
You can't. Analysis paralysis. Make the decision before the decision makes you, and Allen's just going to be happy to get that ball out, force the no sack. Dawson Knox, a slant play to the left side right here, a short play, at least getting called right now. Definitely going to throw this one longer because it's 3rd and 10. Excuse me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Dawson Knox, star player there, receives the ball 2 yards off the line of scrimmage and goes forth for the first.
White jerseys flying everywhere, but the results the same. First down, whole new set of downs at your disposal.
Oh, yeah, that was a good rub play actually across the middle to get that defender off of them. Linebacker kind of sit in their position, thrown off, but it's just Stephon Diggs once again for 6. Jordy marches down the field with a big end landing right into the bread basket of Stephon Diggs.
You call it a clutch goal if you're already up ahead. That one there was definitely worth it. Buffalo needed the daylight. They needed the breathing space. Not sure to get in the latter, but definitely the former. Another touchdown for them.
A high-scoring affair here we have in Buffalo, upstate New York here. All the way out. Hardman Jr. fakes us out yet again. One day he'll take it. We see Jaden taking this ball out from the very first play of the game, right? The very first kickoff to get it about like the 21-yard line, if I remember right, with a solid attempt. Second one is out to the 15. It's been neglected since.
Yeah, you don't have an opportunity. Don't want to waste it. Like how the soldiers of the National Guard don't waste the opportunities they have. They were qualified to receive education benefits from state and federal tuition assistance programs. Learn more at nationalguard.com.
You can't, if you spell like me, you can't spell opportunity without using, or can't spell an Army National Guard without using the letters opportunity. I completely messed that one up. Push on into 2nd and 10. I tried, okay? I tried.
Hey, try and count for something, yeah.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Wow, this felt like 2 games into one. That first game was almost on 2 or 2.5 speed. This was a bit more methodical pace. I do think everyone knows what's at stake.
2.5 earlier and probably 0.5 now. Again, 56 points in this game so far. We're barely halfway through the 3rd quarter. This feels like anything is still possible, barring a, the pick 6 situation from Jordy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's broken up right there as a laundry list. A whole sea of blue jerseys, as you've been saying, gets involved to break this one up. Patrick Mahomes, in real life and within Madden, you can see him calling for it. That is going to be the offensive attempt here for the offense as well, Levante.
Yeah, a coach would always say, if you got hands on it, you got to catch it. But sometimes it's hard to do if you got like a face coming at your shoulder blade.
Yeah, 300 pounds coming in, 10, 11 miles an hour. I think that made me drop this ball as well. Out to it, Pacheco.
Ooh.
Almost looks like he grabbed it out of the defender's hands right there.
It did look like it was almost like a pre-interception to pass to Pacheco to bail them out once again.
I'm sure Pacheco could get it done as a linebacker on the other side of this rock. Probably did some of that in college, like a lot of players do as well. Rashee Rice, first down plus a lot, 75% completion ratio for Patrick Mahomes.
And now it's a race against time, 28 seconds and counting in quarter 3. They have to score this time around.
Yeah, I'd 100% agree with that. That's up. That's batted away there as a couple different members get their hands onto this ball. Number 27, White right there. Breaking up that play, yielding nothing. Stop clock, 22 seconds left in the third quarter right now. Pacheco in the gun. Got his friend with them. Turns up the field. Number 21, I believe is that Von Miller? No, Jordan Poyer, excuse me, another star defensive member of the Buffalo Bills.
Took the long way to get 8 yards, but 8 yards still the same. Moves up once again for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep, just moving these chains, moving these chains. Does get the ball out as well. Kelsey pushing to the outside, stops the clock. That was never going to run after this because we are now in the fourth quarter, the witching hour, where losses become wins and wins become losses.
Dun, 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 dun. I don't know the song I'll play here, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah, fourth quarter means everything because on paper and the way trends are going, it looks like it's Shortu's games to lose. But Jaden LBU not only has the ball, also has a little bit of momentum on their side as well.
Yeah, folks, again, in case you're just tuning on in, Jordu up 1-0 in the series after a 21-0 shutdown. Oh, no! Oh, man. Johnson, that is a ball on his hands, right? And I got to hark back to what Navanta said earlier. Coach says, you got the ball in your hands. You got to bring this one in.
Yeah, because it was going the other way. Let's be real. Let's call
Yeah.
it 100. So that's something you don't want to do again. Absolutely not.
Barely gets this one out. That's a first and goal. Feet down inside, and Mecole Hardman Jr. proves why he is still on this squad.
Wow, I thought that was outside, but what do I know there? An opportunity to get something on the board.
Checo plays the bodyguard duties, and it's Kelsey yet again. The big man staggers down inside for another 6. We have a full quarter of football left, and we got a 1-score game on our hands.
And then you can put that on the board as we were saying there. Buffalo, again, that's what they call insurance points, right? Has a little bit of breathing room, but not much. 1 touchdown, almost 5 full minutes to deal with something here.
Buffalo Bills defense has been the deciding factor. Game number 1, now allowing 4 touchdowns to their 0 in the first, and this game ain't over with yet, Navanta. Just feel like if we're looking for market difference, Jaden's offensive plays playing against the Buffalo Bills, outside of course the team change, has really been the difference between these games 1 and game 2.
I think the biggest difference for me here, from my perspective, is that being able to snap way quicker than usual. Would you have time to think about things? If there isn't a defensive miscue, then you're pretty much getting sacked. And I think when Jaden figured that out, it's been really easy for them.
Yeah, 100%. Gotta agree with you, man. Gotta agree with you. Now it's a lack of pressure here as well. And again, for the offense, 2nd and 10 here as the no catch comes in.
Wow, the pressure is on Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills crew. Could imagine having so many scoring opportunities squandered away. You got to make sure you win this one.
Ooh, gets around a lot. Jared Cook is weaving his way all the way through for a lot more.
Almost broke his own ankles in that play, but that's the kind of yards that will totally help out a team down the line.
Yeah, 100% agreed. Cook gets this one. Gonna get some yardage and keep this clock a-running, my friend.
Looked like I hit the back of the head, but I see no flag on the play. Maybe it was my advantage point. But still, 9-yard run. All right.
Yeah, absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. We're seeing how this team is able to work their way down the field and eat up a lot of clock while they are doing it. Jordu, got to know that one. 3 timeouts on either side and a 2-minute warning, but what, 7 points and a field goal right here to put that situation on ice. Now, surveying the field, almost gets that out. I believe that was Willie Gay that almost got his hands under this one.
Yeah, I just see it coming. We haven't seen it that I can recall off the sack having it being recovered, or maybe once or twice. But yeah, I feel like the way these sacks are coming, that's only a matter of time.
Yeah, the offensive line has just been shining through this defensive line so far. Now looking a little bit more like a sieve here after the first second or so. Dawson Knox still stays on his feet. Edwards, no! That's an early dive right there, and Knox is going to duck walk his way in for another 6 points.
Well, the pass came in, I thought was going to be stopped, but broke through it and had a clear path to glory. Made sure it was done.
Undying honor and glory there. We got to watch that one again. After Tyler Bass stays perfect. There's the first, a big hit, but it's not going to be enough against the powerhouse tight end of Dawson Knox. Kickoff coming in just a little bit. And Jaden has got to score on this drive, and he has got to do it soon. Miko Hardman gets out. The dumping run right there. The defender kind of pushes Miko Hardman out. And hey, we have our first actual kick return for advantage. The 26-yard line is going to be where they're starting, Navanta.
I'll take it. But let me ask you a question there, Tuck. If you
Hit
score a
me.
touchdown, will you duck walk? Are you a duck walker?
I am not a duck walker. I believe in the insurmountable power of instilling like that perseverance in the other side. So I'm not much one of a smack talker, at least within the game. Now, walk-off touchdown, absolutely.
Wow. I mean, you could just totally breakdance the rest of us, but it's cool. It's cool.
That's fair. That's fair. Easier said than done, perhaps. To third, or second and 16 gets turned into third and fourth as Pacheco is the man committing alchemy.
Oh, breaking through the defenses. And, well, Pacheco has shown that they're willing to, as my dad say, pull king rope, right? Being able to contribute when needed to get themselves still in the game here. Always a good option for Kansas City.
2-minute warning now, and the pressure is officially on for Jaden LBU. This is, this is at least a touchdown soon, and then force 3 and out. At most, a touchdown and then an onside kick forced. Forcing the option there, tries to get it out, avoids the sack. Ball or game clock is going to stop right here. Anytime you find yourself in a situation where you have to kick an onside kick, you just know things are going poorly.
Yeah, I mean, that tends to be like the canary in the coal mine, but I like to keep things positive. Stranger things have happened.
Fair enough. That's not positive, though, as White comes down for a big one. Burning a lot of time while this is on the middle, and I do believe this game is now on ice. 3 rushes, no reason to do anything else for Jordan 2X.
Yeah, that was the situation we were waiting for. Obviously, there were so many interceptions in that last series. It kind of went bone dry for Buffalo. It was only a matter of time, but I could not expect it quite like that. And now they have the ball and the lead.
Pass to the inside. Davis going to keep this clock running. That might even be a little bit more as number 13. Oh, lucky number 13 gets this one around again. 6, count them 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the amount of touchdowns that Josh Allen has thrown.
Man, you got to put the whole team on a run with the ball, it seems like.
Another rush. No timeout attempted here. Do believe Jaden is not going for the forfeit. You play this all the way down like an absolute gentleman. We got a interview with our winner after the first match. That, of course, was Jordu. My goodness, long day, guys. Sorry about that. Not 100% sure if we'll be bringing Jordu on into this one for number 2. Obviously, the amount of content there will be a little bit less than would have been otherwise. Gabe Davis comes up, breaks the plane. This game is over. Josh Allen finishes it with 7. I counted to 6 earlier. I can count to 7 too, folks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, man. What's after Navanta?
Yeah, well, I got to be honest with you. I didn't think I would see the defeated Andy Reid animation 3 times in a single day, but we did see that. And I was still curious about the team change. I want to hear about that. What was the process behind that? But much like the last series, Jordu came out in 4 straight games, dispatched 2 opponents. They rolled on in our tournament.
Yeah. The score difference is just about the same. 21-0 was the first game. That was a sweep for Jordu. 48-28, 20-point game in the second. Score difference remains almost the exact same, but that was a game 1 where there was no time where Navanta and I were like, oh man, Jaden's like really, really close here. Could be taking it down again because of the 0-point score. This is so much more of a back and forth game, and I am incredibly glad to have brought it to you guys.
Yeah, that's just saying the half of it. I mean, this is really just a sliver of what this tournament has brought and what we're going to see in the coming weeks. And being able to have the resolve to take down 2 different kinds of opponents is always a good thing to see here when it comes to Madden.
Yeah, so the Texas A&M, that's agricultural and mechanical. That's the college here.
It's Alabama. You said Texas. It's Alabama. A&M. You're so close. You had it right. You had the second part right.
You're right. I did. You're right. I literally have it written down here and everything, and just oh well.
Disrespect.
Alabama, agricultural and mechanical. Excuse me, Jordu. We see them on both ones, and FBI Turbo can't get it right on either one of these. Sorry, what I was saying, Jordu came forth and was able to do this in a previous qualifier as well, though. Obviously, this is all just for qualifying positions within our next week competition. Top 2 there going to be going into the final 8 bracket. My point being, of course, that Jordu has been in the situation before. That was Neighbor that came in and really, again, put the thumb screws to them. Neighbor that was able to then off a win after that, and then a loss in the finals, still get one of the first 2 positionings right there as well, though. So this is a situation that Jordu has been in before. This is the pressure that Jordu has found themselves in before, and the writing on the wall, the narrative that has been written is, will Jordu be able to do this next week and actually go forth, punch a ticket, one of those top 2 slots into that final 8 bracket, Avanta?
No doubt in my mind, it's a long and winding road. You got to win a lot of games and have a lot of receptions and completions, to make that a possibility to get there. But if there's anyone that's shown and proved they're able to do it with different opponents week in and week out, Jordu has shown it. Maybe it's a bit of bias because we see so many of his games, but it takes a lot to tactically defeat opponents. So I do think the chance is as good as any to go to the promised land.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, the promised land, the aforementioned promised land being $2,500 for first, $1,500 per second. Now, third and fourth still getting themselves $500 apiece, but first and second going to be able to be playing for a chance to compete live in the NFL draft. That's where that championship is going down. That is in April, of course. So plenty of qualifiers, plenty of games to be played before then as well. Right now, though, we're officially done with the day, folks. It has been an absolute, just a blast, an absolute pleasure to have brought you the competitions on the day. At this point, I want to give a big fat shout out to our production staff. That is Aster, that is Zach, and that is a laundry list of absolute goats behind the scenes that are making our jobs as casters so much easier, folks. We would just be 2 guys screaming about Madden in our rooms without our production staff. Very, very much appreciated. Navanta, do you have anything else for the good people before we bid them adieu on the day?
Gotta say, learn more about how you can help out your community by hitting up the nationalguard.com. Remember, there are civilians and soldiers. Guard service is part-time. Soldiers of the Guard can work full-time, go to school, fulfill their training a minimum of 1 week in a month with job-specific annual training. Learn more at nationalguard.com.
Yeah, so guys, you can do more for yourself and for your future. Soldiers in the Guard can qualify to receive assistance as well. That's for education benefits, of course, from the state and federal tuition assistance programs. So not just the like leeway to go to school as well, but actual like assistance as well, financial and otherwise. Soldiers in the Guard have the opportunity to gain transferable skills as well as leadership qualities outside of the workplace or the classroom while pursuing a full-time job or going to school full-time. Guys, again, Army National Guard, if you're interested, check out their website. If you're also interested, if you enjoyed what you heard, well, go ahead and follow on Rally Cry, because we're doing a lot more of these competitions. If you like the voices that brought those to you, well, tags right down there, guys, if you so choose. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back with you next week for the second round of this third open qualifier.
Our generation has a choice. Turn away from the world's problems or chase them down. We refuse to sit back and watch them pass us by. Watch us fly ahead. Rise to every challenge and overcome anything. Watch us become the next greatest generation.